One Sports app, Sirius XM channel 375, noon to 3 Eastern, each and every day, right here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 310-840-4910. We have a loaded show. Day 3, live from Radio Row. Bleck and Abdalla hanging out with you for the next 3 hours right here on Westwood One Sports. Boy, guys, we had a hell of a day yesterday. Not only were we here broadcasting the show, we also got a chance to hang out together last night. Fancy. We went to a party in Silicon Valley. I mean, this is the high life.
That's some theater of the mind right here. Looking at who is at the party.
Raj is with us as well.
I'm here.
I would say this: Bleck and Abdalla, not usually our scene.
No,
more of a corner tavern, your hole in the wall bar, hanging out. But last night was pretty cool. We got a chance to go to the EA Sports, the Madden party last night.
Yes,
we had a hell of a time.
Yeah, it was great. We went. It was like the EA campus.
Yes,
they had like the field in the middle of this campus, and then there's a whole bunch of people there. Obviously, there was like you could play Madden, you could play FIFA.
Did you play? Did you play Madden?
No.
Did you grab a controller?
No. I didn't pick up any sticks. The line was way too long.
Is that what they say?
That's what Raj told me it was called. I didn't know it was called.
Raj, you're a gamer, aren't you?
Yeah,
sports games. Yeah,
you're a gamer.
Madden, college, 2K.
All right.
You pick up the sticks, and if you lose, you got to pass them sticks.
I wish I was still a gamer. I just don't really have it in me. The attention span. I don't know what.
No, I'm envious of you. You're out. I wish I could get out.
It's just one of those things. I also think my wife would leave me if that were the case. If she came home and I was just sitting there gaming all day, I don't think she would be thrilled with me.
Well, you'd have to buy like one of those chairs. You know what I mean? Like you get one of those gaming chairs.
Yes.
Where like they had like the audio, like the subwoofers on the side, and like it vibrated when like it had like the haptics and everything.
Well,
in
it's what
you know what I
mean. Steve Carell and Paul Rutter sitting in the 40-year-old virgin.
Yes, exactly that. Like, and I don't see that as your vibe. Like that's not you.
I don't think it is.
You're not buying new furniture for a new hobby. I don't think so. But yeah, it was a great time, and like it was the NFL media party. It was so like everybody that was here just was there.
Well, yeah. And you know how that goes. When there's free food involved with media members, it is like a scene out of a apocalyptic movie where it's the end of the world, and people are elbowing and pushing. It's like, dude, that's just a mini burger. Like you can, I know you can afford a full cheeseburger somewhere.
Yeah, it's a free. You've got a per diem.
It's a free mini burger. You don't have to be pushing over women and children to get the free food.
Yeah, but anything to save that per diem for today. Like anything to do that. Like anything to save it. So I have some free soup money for today. I'm all about.
Okay, so like that's the other aspect of it. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We are going to be talking to a lot of great guests today. A lot of football names that you know. Mike Mayock will join us in about 15 minutes here on the set. We're going to talk to Todd Heap, to Dennis Pitta, Lorenzo Neal, Lorenzo Alexander, Demario Davis, Logan Ryan, Jeff Garcia. Tons of former players are going to join us on the show today. But I think the most important aspect of the Bleck and Abdalla show here during Super Bowl week is the charting of Abdalla's quest to find soups around this city. We call it Super Week. And Abdalla finds a soup each and every day. He tells us about it. And you were able to secure soup yesterday.
Yeah, I got soup day 2. So it was Tuesday. So day 2 of Super Week. The first day was the Skoma's Wild Gulf Shrimp Bisque. I got 4.5 out of 5 bowls. Day 2, on our way back to the hotel.
How much was it? Do you know?
It was like $12.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
For a full bowl?
For a full bowl. It wasn't, no, for a cup, but it was like a nice restaurant. So it wasn't bad. So yesterday on our way back to the hotel, there's like it's like a small chain, I guess. It's like a local chain. So it's not like a Panera or like a anything like that. It's called, I think I'm saying it right. It's called Boudin or Boudin. It's Boudin.
You could have looked this up ahead of time.
I did look it up. I just don't know how to say it.
Okay.
So like I don't,
you could have watched like a commercial or something.
I could have, but
but you didn't.
But I'm not giving away free plugs, so whatever. Look it up yourself.
Because you're hoping someday someone will sponsor your Super Quest.
Exactly. But I'm not giving away free plugs right now.
Yeah.
So this is I went here and you'll appreciate this because apparently the bread is out of this world. So I went there.
I love bread.
Mainly,
if you love soups. I love bread.
It's like the sourdough is the main thing, and so I went there because they do soup in a bread bowl.
Yeah, right.
And so I went and got their clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl.
And how was that?
It was okay. Like, they're not all going to be winners, all right? They're not all going to be winners during Super Week. Sometimes you have some highs, like our day one. Sometimes you have some lows.
So you're not really impressed with what you had yesterday.
I mean, listen, I didn't expect the clam chowder. It's kind of a chain, you know what I mean? Like, there's like 5 or 6 locations of these. I wasn't on the wharf. I couldn't see the water. You know what I mean? It was like...
Was it even seafood then?
Yeah, it was seafood.
If you couldn't see water.
I mean, I couldn't see the water, so I don't know if it was seafood. You know what I mean? I could see the food, but I couldn't see the food.
I got it. Yeah.
But
take a lap.
There was a lot of potatoes in this.
What are we doing?
There was a lot of potatoes live from Radio Row here in San Francisco.
What's funny
Bleck
is
and Abdalla here on national radio.
Everyone around us is having super serious football conversations now.
Yeah.
Mike Mayock is waiting.
And he does not. And what we know from before is he does not tolerate this.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, he may be a soup fan, but
he might be.
We're going to break down.
As a soup man.
We're going to break down some football though.
So there's a lot of potatoes in this. It was good. It wasn't just what I expected. I imagine if I went and got another chowder later this week, like if we went to the wharf like later today, I could get a better chowder. However, the bread made it better. Okay. So like the fact that it came in a bread bowl, I gave it an extra half a bowl because it came in the bread bowl. Okay. So I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. 2.5 out of 5. But I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 because of the bowl. I gave it an extra half a bowl because of the bread, because the bread was great. Okay. So I'm giving it 3 out of 5 bowls. So now we're through 2 weeks, and this whole thing was like $11.
2 weeks?
Or 2 days, 2 days of the week. So
I thought you had something prepared for the audience.
I do. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the tweet from yesterday.
Just making sure.
You can look at the tweet at Adam A. Abdalla, cross-platform.
Yeah, thank you.
And so 3 out of 5 bowls, the extra half a bowl for the bread. And it was decent. It just wasn't great. It was fine.
Okay, thank you. And so today, do you have a plan of attack for today's soup?
My plan is to gallivant about the city and let the soup come to me.
Duck soup.
Okay.
I'm not spending $26 on soup.
I think Friday.
I'm not spending $26
I spent like $30 yesterday on like cheese and crackers.
That's
and
because you bought something in the media
it's a huge mistake. It's like buying food in an airport.
Yeah, that's
a huge rookie move on my part.
Insane behavior.
Yeah, I'll own it. Like I deserve to be ridiculed.
My plan is to let the soup come to me. So as we're gallivanting about the city later today, when we're done with the show here at Media Row or Radio Row here at the Moscone Center.
The Media Center. We're on Radio Row.
Yeah, and we're gonna
live
go out
in San Francisco.
We're gonna go out there, and the soup is gonna find me.
Okay.
And that's where I'll eat whatever bisque chowder, something with fish in it.
Before we get to all the football conversation, we have the Patriots, the Seahawks, Super Bowl 60. We're going to talk a lot of football today. I know also Abdalla on his quest for Super Week. He was also charting plays in the Pro Bowl last night. So Abdalla has a full breakdown, a play-by-play breakdown of the entire Pro Bowl, which he's going to record a special podcast on the Bleck and Abdalla channel and release that later on today.
Don't make me do it.
I mean, as I turned on the Pro Bowl last night, it is the dumbest thing in all of sports. It's seriously.
That's saying something.
Raj, it really is. What is the point? Who is this for, and why do people care? I know that I saw on the news that there were like fans walking out who were like, it was so exciting. There were a lot of points scored. They weren't doing anything.
They
were all wearing hats and shorts and just hanging out. Like it's such a waste of time.
I don't even know how this was for kids, because normally you say like these all-star games are for the children, and like kids like watching all-star games because you can see all of your favorite players at once. You don't have to watch separate games. You don't have to watch separate highlights. You can see all of your favorite all-stars, whether it's baseball or basketball and now football. The problem is this wasn't exciting. I watched like the first quarter of it before we left for the party, and it just wasn't interesting. It didn't look good.
Yeah.
It didn't sound good because you didn't know who, like a lot of guys were playing both directions. You had like Jamar Chase was playing both offense and defense. You had guys playing like out of position. Like it just wasn't pleasant to watch. And again, you saw a very high-scoring game, but it's flag football. But also,
who cares about the score though?
Exactly.
It seemed pointless.
It didn't seem.
The entire thing seemed like a joke.
You know what was more
That's
interesting?
what it felt like.
Was the flag football, the kids' flag football game that was on before it.
Well, I'm sure the kids
was
were
more
trying.
interesting. Yeah, they were.
And that's why it's interesting. I think so. That's one thing to kind of discuss today is like, what's the point of the NFL still having the Pro Bowl games? They should just name the teams and then just move along.
Yeah.
Right? Like, name the teams, have all the players out here for this week, and have some kind of like event where each player is at a booth. Maybe you could do it like have it like the media night for the Super Bowl, but allow it to be a fan festival. Like, don't you think people would come and show up if you had a booth here in this room and every Pro Bowler was sitting there and fans could come in and they could just see different Pro Bowlers and they could be there for an hour, and instead of having the game, have the players actually be here and kind of give back to the fans who support them through the year. That would be better than a game. This stupid Pro Bowl game thing that they've come up with.
Yeah, I don't want to besmirch the good players of the NFL, but I don't know if they would. I think they like hanging out with each other and playing the game with each other. I don't know if they would like the idea of sitting in a booth and signing autographs for an hour.
Well, maybe it's not autographs. Maybe
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
you have a media member sitting there like doing a Q&A or something for like 30 minutes.
Okay. Because I saw them like walking in. They signed a few autographs or something like that, like for the camera. And then, speaking of camera, at one point they had Shedeur Sanders holding a camera.
Sure can.
And they had the Shedeur
on the field?
No, in the locker room. And he was like holding a camera and like walking up to players awkwardly. And on the screen they had the Shedeur cam. And like you could tell, like this is the only reason they named Shedeur Sanders to the Pro Bowl. Like we're gonna talk to Lorenzo Neal later today. Lorenzo Neal was a 4-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Do you think that when
he probably thinks it's a joke.
Do you think if we introduce Lorenzo Neal as 4-time Pro Bowler, he's gonna be like, hey Chris, let's not call me that anymore?
But someone like Lorenzo Neal, like that type of Pro Bowl honor meant something.
Of course.
And I think that's the difference of what we've kind of learned here on Radio Row this week, talking to former players, is like it used to be something to be proud of, and it seems like now it's kind of a joke. And that's like the overall thought I have with it.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed like last night. Like even it just didn't seem interesting. It didn't seem like something even. And like obviously I'm not a kid, I'm a 41-year-old adult. I don't know what's interesting to 12 and 13-year-olds, but I can't imagine a 12 or 13-year-old sitting down and watching that for 2 hours yesterday, or an hour, however long it was, for them to score a combined 110 points or whatever it was.
It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Radio Row, Westwood One Sports, hanging out with you until 3 Eastern here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I do want to mention this. James Harden was traded yesterday to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Darius Garland and a second-round pick going back to the Clippers. To me, it's like I get why Cleveland in the short term will make this move. The other aspect that I don't really understand is like this is what James Harden does. James Harden is never happy, and he's always chasing a title. And that's, I guess, the reasoning behind this, even though publicly James Harden saying differently, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
And I think what it is James Harden is always just slightly not good enough. He's never going to win a title. Like this move, I don't think puts Cleveland into the number one spot in the East, or the team that's automatically going to be facing off against either the Thunder or the Spurs or the Nuggets in the Western Conference in the finals.
Yeah.
And I think defensively, you got to watch how that's going to play out. He's obviously a hell of an offensive player. Great guard when he wants to be someone that distributes first and then play off of that with his own scoring, his ability to get to the free throw line. It's a big move. We got to keep our eyes on the NBA trade deadline tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's something to keep our eyes on. Giannis and what's going to happen there. There's a lot going on in the NBA as well.
Yeah, it's just now we know what James Harden's going to have as what we know James Harden's going to be for the rest of his career. It's a guy who has moved around to like 6 or 7 different teams, a guy who doesn't perform well in the playoffs, and a guy who, well, did you request a trade? Well, no, I didn't request a trade. It's like, yeah, come on. Did you? Didn't you? Like, we know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Like, we know what happened here.
Right, exactly. This is what James Harden does.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately, it's coming to the point where he's going to go down as one of the greatest players in league history to never have won a championship.
He's got to win, or else this is what your legacy is going to be. The guy that forever just moved from team to team to team and never showed up in the playoffs and didn't win anything.
It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Mike Mayock will join us here on set coming up next. Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit.
If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. If you're new to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. That's code B&A and turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states and present in state where it is lawful to wager. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets are non-cash credits that expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer valid until February 8th, 2026.
You're talking Super Bowl this week, and we're living it live from San Francisco, grabbing the stories, the guests, and the moments that matter on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Live from Radio Row, Super Bowl 60, the Patriots and the Seahawks coming up on Sunday. We're getting you set live from downtown San Francisco, having a great time. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Mike Mayock from Westwood One Sports is now on the set hanging out with Bleck and Abdalla. Good to meet you, and thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, you guys have a pretty good set here.
Yeah, it's nice, right? Well, we are here keeping the chairs warm for Jim Rome.
Oh, yeah.
Jim will take over at 3 Eastern here on Westwood One Sports.
Gotcha.
We're the pregame show.
Jim's been around a while.
Yeah.
He's an old war horse like me.
Legend.
He is a
man.
legend. He is a legend. I mean, people still talk about him and Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Like it was yesterday.
You're right.
I mean 14-year-olds know that story.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Even when you go viral before viral was a thing, that's the key, right? Like he's the man. So Jim will be here.
Tell him I said, hey,
we will absolutely. Mike, when we look at this game, the one thing that we've kind of talked about with a lot of people here in the convention center in the first couple days from San Francisco is that it seems like a lot of people agree that Seattle is by far the better team. As that for an introduction to this conversation, do you think those people are right or wrong when you look at these two teams heading into this matchup?
I wouldn't say by far. I would, if you asked me a 53-player evaluation and an overview of the coaching staffs and everything, I'd say that Seattle is a more complete team right now. And most people would have thought New England was 2, 3, 4 years away from being where they are today. Mm-hmm. But I give New England a ton of credit. I mean, nobody's talking about the general managers in this game, which bothers me. We talk about how great these coaches are, and they are. But the job Elliott Wolf did, they won 4 games a year ago, right? I mean, between the draft and they had a lot of money to spend in free agency, and people don't understand how hard it is to spend it wisely. I mean, yeah, you spend a lot of money on Milt Williams, right? And that was important. But what about the guy that plays next to him, Tongas? Or, I mean, he's a really good player.
Sure, right.
But people don't talk about that. Spillane, he's a glue guy they got from the Raiders. I mean, they did a great job. They've got 6 free agents starting on defense. And then the maturation of Drake May, I think, has gone beyond anybody what they would have figured out coming into year 2 of his career.
Yeah, and speaking of the quarterbacks, as far as the two guys go, Sam Darnold and Drake May.
Yeah.
Drake May had a great regular season. The postseason hasn't been too kind to him so far. And if you look at Sam Darnold, had a great, had a decent regular season, had the game of his life in the NFC Championship game. What do you put more stock into, what we saw in the regular season or what we've kind of seen recently with the postseason when the lights are a little bit brighter for these two guys?
I'm a big believer with quarterbacks on nervous system, okay?
Yeah.
For instance, we just saw in the national championship game in college, Fernando Mendoza probably doesn't have the physical tool set of Carson Beck, who was the Georgia quarterback. But regardless of what tape you put in on Mendoza, when the game's in the line in the fourth quarter, he embraces it and plays at his highest level. Whereas Carson Beck has a litany of bad decisions and bad throws over a 3-year period. So even though the physical traits tell you one thing, the nervous system often tells you another, okay? So I put a lot into, how'd you play in the playoffs? And let's take Darnold. I mean, they've only played 2 games. Patriots have played 3. The first game, they whacked San Francisco. I think he only threw the ball 16, 17 times.
Yeah.
He didn't have to, right? So that was that game. But he had to play at a high level to beat the Rams. He put 31 points on the board, and I think he eradicated a lot of those ghosts where people say the bigger the game got. Look at the playoffs last year, and I kind of look at it, and I get frustrated because all these high-level quarterbacks were drafted in the top 5, right? Mm-hmm. Don't work with the first team. Everybody calls them busts. And now we're seeing guys like Darnold, Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield. They're getting with the right team, and the fit works. And now we're seeing what Darnold could have been several years ago. And I give Darnold a ton of credit. So on the one side, I think he's put that game, to your point, against the Rams, I think was big for Seattle and even bigger for Sam. The Drake May piece of it, I think he had 5 turnovers the first 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
Last week they played in the blizzard, but he kind of won the game with his legs. Mm-hmm. Quarterback draw and then a naked bootleg late to get the first down to end the game. So I think people don't understand how great an athlete he is, first of all. But I think this whole game comes down to, can Drake May in year 2 put a team on his back that's an underdog and put 30 on a really good defense and go out and win a shootout? Because I think Seattle's going to score 25 to 32 points. So Drake, I think it's incumbent upon Drake to have the game of his life, and it'll be really intriguing to see if he can do it.
If we could touch on the concept that you brought up with evaluating young quarterbacks, because the talent is usually there, and how difficult is it to be a talent evaluator in those spots, in that room, trying to figure out, like how you explained it with Carson Beck. Adam and I are not talent evaluators, but we knew going into the championship game that the theme that we kept pointing to was Carson will give it up. He'll give you a turnover. He'll give you a chance to turn the football over. And how do you evaluate a kid who has the talent? Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold had the talent, got to New York, and it didn't come out. Now it is. And I think that is such a cool story to this Super Bowl, is that he's figured it out, and he's essentially now living up to who we thought he was at USC. So as a talent evaluator, how difficult is it to figure out that other stuff where Mendoza, it seems like he's got it? How do you harness it? How do you figure that out as an evaluator?
So if you go back and just look at the last 20 years of drafts of first-round quarterbacks, the hit rate isn't even 50%. Okay, and you have to ask, this is what you're talking about. Why?
Yeah, right.
And I'm fascinated by the topic, especially with the resurgence of the guys we just talked about. Why are they all of a sudden effective again?
Right.
And really what I do think it comes down to, we already talked about nervous system, which doesn't, and the intangibles that don't get talked about enough. We can measure a guy's arm. What kind of athlete is he? How dynamic is he? We can do all those things. But at the end of the day, with the game on the line, if he's going to throw it to the other team, we got a problem. Okay, that's oversimplifying the whole thing. But here's what I think people don't understand. By definition, if you go in the first 5 picks of a draft at quarterback, you're going to a bad football team.
Yeah.
Point number 1, right? Point number 2, the kid has to have a certain amount of maturity, and he's got to be emotionally and physically tough because he's probably going to take a beating. But what we don't understand is the team owes this kid an infrastructure to try and protect the kid, not just physically, but in every way. So, for instance, can you run the football? That helps protect the young quarterback. Do you play some defense? That helps. So you don't have to have a shootout every week and win a game. And can you help him protect the football and develop? And we're not. Who's your offensive play caller? That guy can.
And I think that aspect's interesting because we've seen a couple of these high selected quarterbacks be taken by teams who hold on to a coach like 1 year too long. Like we're from Chicago, so we just saw this happen with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams was drafted in a situation where Matt Eberflus was not prepared to get the most out of Caleb Williams. And I think Chicago sports fans kind of knew that in the moment. And then Ben Johnson shows up, and immediately you start to see some progress of the talent that we thought Caleb had. So, like, a lot of that has to go with the idea.
Let's take it even further. What did Jacksonville do this year? Trevor Lawrence had a resurgence.
Yes,
why? Liam Cohen came to town.
Right.
Drake May had a solid rookie year, but he takes off. You know, he's got Josh McDaniels in a continuation mode here, and he's being supported now with a brand new offensive line, new wideouts. If you don't have a great offensive play caller with a plan for your quarterback,
right,
the quarterback probably won't be successful because he's inheriting a bad football team.
Do you think we're going to get a reaction? This is obviously a very reactionary league because the Vikings let Sam Darnold go. We've seen Baker Mayfield had a resurgence after he left Cleveland. Do you think we're going to get a reaction to teams maybe try to hold on to these guys longer and maybe adjust who they bring in as coaches and try to keep these quarterbacks longer to see if they can find the right fit before they move on from a quarterback and try to adjust the coaching staff first before they move on?
I think there's a reason we're seeing younger offensive coordinators and quarterback coaches because they come out of specific trees. Everybody wants the McVay tree.
Yeah.
You know, the Shanahan tree, the Kubiak tree. They're all coming out, right? The reality is, tell me exactly what you want out of this, because I can go in 10 different ways. Ask the question again. What do you want out of this?
Ask a better question.
No, because I was about to go off for 10 minutes, and you don't want
basically,
that.
like, the Vikings obviously regret letting go of Sam Darnold. And maybe the Browns, regret letting go of Baker Mayfield. Do you think that those teams, or we're going to see other teams that are going to say, hey, we need to keep these guys longer, but maybe get rid of our coaching staff or bring in an offensive mind?
You're already seeing that, okay? And that's kind of what I was starting to get into. You're already seeing, hey, we got to cut bait, and we got to go get Liam Cohen. We got to go get, in the case of Chicago, which I think is, like, I did a ton of work on that kid coming out of USC. And I had him and Jaden Daniels with the exact same grade at the top of the draft, and Drake May just a single notch below him. Those were the three. They were 1, 2, and 3, right? So year one, what did you see at Caleb Williams in Chicago?
Inconsistent play, some high heights, but then a lot of really bad decision-making and, a lot of sacks, essentially.
So what did we see this year? What we saw, I think, was the development of a quarterback, because the coach came in with a system and a way of doing things. He's going to listen to Caleb.
Yep.
But I know some people on that staff, and they were like, Mike, look, he was pretty tough on him early. Like, you got to get on board with what he wanted, footwork, how we're going to run the play, how we're going to read a progression. And it can't just let the kid do it because he's a first-round pick and do it his way, okay? And if the quarterback buys into that, now something magical can happen. Caleb Williams can go from the guy you had in year one to the guy you got in year two, where now everybody in Chicago is going, oh, man, we got a chance now.
Yeah.
Same thing in Jacksonville. The kid took off the second half of the year. Talking to people in Jacksonville, same conversation. Trevor had to buy in. Liam had. So I talked to an owner, a prominent owner years ago, maybe 10 years ago, about young coaches coming in and getting propped up early. And he's like, you know what, Mike? Quarterback's the most important position in all of sports. And if you're successful, you're going to lose your offensive coordinator every other year.
Yeah.
And he said, I would rather take a 32-year-old guy that you tell me is not ready, an offensive guy, and make him my head coach so I can't lose him. Nick Sirianni, not 32, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
You can go around the league and pick and that's what they're trying to do, is keep the communication and continuity of the quarterback. So even if the coordinators leave, you've got a head coach in continuity of that offense.
Mike, we've already taken way too much of your time. Before we let you go, February 12th on YouTube, a 10-week series. The evaluation. We talked to Big E yesterday here on the set.
He's cool. Yeah.
So you're a part of this. We're looking forward to it. More draft evaluation and breakdown.
So imagine, and this is a little different for me, but imagine like old school grinding scouts, like I'm one of, right?
Yeah.
That write reports and grind their tail off on the tape, meets brand new AI artificial intelligence with 27-year-old data scientists. Okay, so start with that kind of conversation. We have a group of scouts with over 500 years of combined experience in the NFL. I'm talking about former NFL coaches and scouts, and we grind the hell out of it. We have fun, okay? But now I give my overview in the show on a wide receiver, and we've got a 27-year-old data scientist that thankfully played football at Tulane who gets it. Who's like, yeah, but Mike, you got to understand that wide receiver you just talked about, is he quick enough on separation? And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, his average rate he went and started going into all.
Gave you the numbers.
The numbers. Mm-hmm. And the predictive analysis of those numbers would lead him to believe the wideout might not be quick enough in separation, which to me is a great cross-check. Now I got to go back and watch the tape again and maybe I'll grab Sam and say, hey, let's go watch it together and see if he can separate. So in this show, we're going to do one each week on a Thursday night. We're going to do one position at a time. And we also interview some of the best players in NFL history who talk about instincts and what it takes to do. Howie Long, one of my best friends in the world, does defensive line.
He's great.
Max Crosby does defensive line.
Yeah.
We got Eli talking quarterbacks. Luke Kuechly talking about instincts at linebacker.
That's great.
Oh, my God. I got
That's
chill
awesome.
bumps with these guys.
Yeah.
Steve Smith talking about playing wide out with instincts. I mean, so we're bringing all this together, and it's pretty cool.
Keep up the great work with that show, and we'll be looking forward to it. We'll be watching, and also with Westwood One Sports. We appreciate it, Mike.
Appreciate your time, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks
Mike
so
Mayock
much.
with Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We'll be right back.
This is the week the entire NFL season builds to, and we've got everything you need to know. Super Bowl stories, news, and every angle that actually matters on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla live from Radio Row in San Francisco as we get set for Super Bowl 60. Patriots, Seahawks on Sunday. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Live on set, Todd Heap, Dennis Pitta, former tight ends, Ravens players. We have Super Bowl winners here at the desk. Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Well, let us clarify. We have one Super Bowl winner here at the desk.
I didn't
This always gets a little
It
awkward.
sounded like it sounded plural when it came
I
out of
was
your mouth.
smack dab in between I was drafted, the year after in 2001 after they won the 2000 Super Bowl, and then came in or left for the Cardinals in 2011, and that's when they won it 2 years after that. So
As a player, you are a part of all this circus.
yes.
How
Yes.
much of a distraction is that game week? Being on the road for a full week, heading into the game, all the extra media obligations, I'm sure, friends and family reaching out, trying to get tickets, trying to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'll take this one, Todd, since
Go ahead, Dennis. Go ahead. You take
since you lost in the AFC Championship several times.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
In fairness, I lost in the AFC Championship as well, but then we won it the next year. So it's a crazy week, to be completely honest. I mean, you win the AFC Championship, and then you have 2 weeks to the Super Bowl. The first week is very normal. You're at your own facility. You have a normal week of practice. It's very structured. You don't get a huge sense of the craziness of the Super Bowl. And then you get to the host city, which for us was New Orleans, and you start to understand how big of a game this is. You have media outlets from everywhere, from a million different countries. You have, the Food Network asking you questions at Media Day. You have all these different outlets that you didn't even know ever talked about football. And they're all here. They've all descended upon the Super Bowl, and it's crazy. Now, it's a distraction for sure. I mean, you have these dedicated media sessions, and you're trying to have a normal week. You're trying to kind of focus on the game and practice. And, I mean, football players are creatures of habit. Like, we just like to have the same schedule. Practice is such a big thing leading up to the game. And when that's all disrupted, it's difficult as a player. So, fortunately, both teams are dealing with it. It's typically the team that handles it the best that usually comes out on top and limits the mistakes in those games. But, fortunately, you deal with it, you handle it, you deal with all the family and all that trying to get to the game. I mean, it's a mess, but when you come out as a winner, it feels pretty good at the end.
I know the stock answer usually is you treat it like any other game. The mental prep for either a AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, do you have to focus in and make sure that your mind is right for the moment so you don't get overwhelmed? Or is it just something where like, I'm confident in who I am, I'm confident as a player, I'm going to show up and play ball and it doesn't matter? Or did you have to actively think about these things before big games?
Well, I think it's different for different guys, and the more successful guys handle those situations better. Like Dennis said, we're creatures of routine.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go through your routine and you kind of try to block out the noise. And that's whoever handles that situation and those issues the best.
Right.
Those are the guys that are going to win the game and limit their mistakes, limit their mental errors, and be more free when they're playing the game.
And that's easy to say. It's not always easy to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think what happens inevitably is once you get into the game and you start playing football, that kind of all disappears.
Yeah.
And you kind of get in the zone and you're like, okay, this is a normal football game. Everything else aside, no matter how big this game is or how much pressure or who's watching, once you get in the game, it all feels very normal
that
again.
First hit, everything goes away, and you're like, okay, I'm playing football. Let's
It's
go.
the same game you've been playing your entire life.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you just fall back on, that same, those same fundamentals. That's the same routine of playing in that game, and it all goes away.
So do you think it benefits both these teams? Because neither of these teams, a lot of these guys have never been in this situation before. And a lot of this stuff, for it being in San Francisco, everything is in Santa Clara, which is like 40 miles away.
Yeah.
Nothing is around here. Both practice facilities are pretty far away from here. Everything is in downtown San Francisco. Is that a benefit to this specific Super Bowl, you think, for these teams?
I think so. I mean, you're kind of removed from all the media circus. Now, they'll have, obviously, their media days, which they already had, I'm sure. And you have those dedicated times when you have to kind of entertain all the noise and the nonsense and that. But being able to stay away, like we were in New Orleans and everything was right in the city.
Yeah.
So you're walking to every little event, the Radio Row, everything was right there. And so you get the sense of how big everything is, and there's just so many distractions and all that. Being removed in Santa Clara, I think, is a really good thing for these teams, just to kind of compartmentalize, the media circus of it all with, okay, we're playing football, and we can kind of remove ourselves from all this.
All right, specifically for this game this week, how do you guys see this kind of playing out? I think a lot of the former players we've talked to this week, people keep pointing to Seattle as the better team, but it would be a better story if New England found a way to win this game. What do you guys think of that?
I don't know if I like the story of New England. I mean, they've done enough winning. But
I agree. I agree with you there. I love that.
And I'm usually an AFC guy. Like
Sure.
I'm spent 10 years in the AFC, and usually we'll root for the AFC. But it's a little different feel when it's New England. But with that being said, I'm a huge Drake May guy. I mean, he's been so impressive. He's been so impressive this whole season. Great young man, great talent. He's handled himself very well. That being said, Sam Darnold's done the same thing on the other side. And so, I'm going to love seeing this matchup between these two guys that Drake's just starting off his career. Sam's been through a whole lot to get to where he is at this point. Traverse through all the ups and downs and get to this point in his career.
Yeah, when we look at both of these quarterbacks, we've definitely talked a lot this week about the idea with Sam Darnold, teams are not giving quarterbacks enough time to develop. And we don't think it's a surprise that you're starting to see some of these names, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and even we were just talking to Mike Mayock, and he brought up Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had a lot of success early last season. I know it fell off towards the end and he got hurt, but essentially the conversation around allowing young players to develop. And I think that could go for any position, right? Like there's a clock always ticking on the GM and the coach. And usually one or the other is not getting the same amount of leash when it comes to trying to figure it out. You guys have been in the locker rooms as players, seeing how things have gone. You've also played for a pretty successful franchise that doesn't really make a lot of drastic changes in the Baltimore Ravens. So it would be interesting to hear your perspective, because from an outsider, I would assume the Ravens throughout your careers would allow some more development, perhaps to younger players.
Yeah, and I think it depends on, number one, the player, and number two, the structure around him in the organization. Because like in the case of Sam Darnold, obviously Sam needed a little bit more time to develop than, maybe Drake May. But again, those are two very drastically different situations, because Drake May goes into a great organization with a great owner. Obviously now that he has Mike Vrabel with great coaching and all of that around him, and you really see him able to flourish very quickly in just his second year. Whereas Sam Darnold goes to the Jets, and we've seen their track record over the last couple decades, really, and it's just so much harder to develop when you have dysfunction and chaos around you. And Sam's proof of that. And so finally he got into a great situation in San Francisco. He could be the backup. He could really learn what it was like to play high-level quarterback and learn from a great coach, be able to sit behind a great player. And then once he was able to do that himself with the Vikings, with another great organization and stability in their coaching staff, he flourished. And then obviously now with Mike McDonald and that whole crew, I mean, you see the player that he was destined to be. But it took longer because he was a product of his situation early on, right? And so much of playing quarterback in particular is who's around you. What's the structure around you? What's the team like? What's the organization like? And unfortunately, guys are going to get drafted into some bad situations. It's going to take them a lot longer. You hope that they don't lose their confidence in themselves as a player before they're able to right the ship with good structure and pieces around them.
Chris brought up that stability that you guys played for in the Ravens. Not only the Ravens, we saw you guys walking around with Joe Flacco a little bit earlier on. There he is right there.
Here.
How about
Hey,
that?
Joe.
That was very
What
weird.
time was on point. There
I
you
just
go.
mentioned that. He's right behind us.
That was funny.
He's always following us around.
Not only the Ravens and with Harbaugh leaving this year, but Mike Tomlin leaving the Steelers this year. Just the turnaround in the division. I mean, the Browns are always changing, but just the turnaround in the division this year with those two jobs being available is crazy. What do you guys think of that going on this year?
It's not just the turnaround in that division. It's across the board. And
10
you talked
jobs.
about this earlier.
Yeah.
The leash is short.
Yes.
And it's growing shorter and shorter with the 24-hour news cycle. I mean, everybody's following the sport. It's every piece of news, every little detail is like scrutinized so much that you don't have a lot of time to make mistakes. And even in our case, when we're talking about, as players, they're bringing in so many guys every year to take your place. Like whether you're a starter or, doesn't matter who you are, they're looking to replace you every year. They're looking to critique you and to play. I mean, it bottom line, it's a business. And so you've got to have success fast. You've got to have success often. And we've seen some of these teams that give a little more leeway, that give a little more leash, that give a little more, have a little more loyalty towards the guys that they picked. Those are the ones that have shown have had a lot of success over the years because they're able to develop all the things around making a great team. And, the best ones build great locker rooms and have great coaches and execute. That's what the bottom line is.
We only have 2 more minutes left here in this segment. Cadix is the cleat that we have in front of us. Cadix.
We went over this. Come on.
Sorry, I botched it. Tell us about the cleat. It looks awesome.
Yeah. So, listen, these cleats have a really awesome technology called smart studs. As you guys can see here. So the bottom of these studs, they can pivot in any direction. They can spin.
Oh, wow.
They can flex all directions.
They can flex. And so really what that does is it changes the dynamic between the athlete and the surface they're playing on. And so they can release from the turf faster. They can put you in better positions. Your cleat doesn't get stuck in one position when I'm cutting, changing direction, doing anything like that.
Right.
And so what it can do is really mitigate some of those non-contact ACL injuries, non-contact high ankle sprains, those kind of things that you see that have really been a pandemic across the league, especially this past year. I mean, from Nick Bosa to Micah Parsons to Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. You've seen ACL injuries and all kinds of serious injuries that, not saying could have necessarily been prevented. I mean, it's inherently a very violent, dangerous sport. But if we can in some way mitigate putting our body in a position that it could have a long-term serious injury, then we're doing our job. And so it's really cool technology. Todd and I got involved about 1.5 years ago, and it's been a really fun project. And we've got about 40 NFL players right now wearing them in games.
The shoes look great. They look fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by.
Yeah.
Todd Heap, Dennis Pitta, the cleat looks awesome. And obviously, it's a big deal to keep the players safe. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We'll be right back.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Live from San Francisco, the site of Super Bowl 60, Westwood One Sports presents Bleck and Abdalla.
That's right, live from Radio Row. It's Bleck and Abdalla hanging out with you all week, live from San Francisco. I'm Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, noon to 3 Eastern. Jim Rome will take over the TV set right here from Radio Row at 3 Eastern on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join us today, you can call us at 310-840-4910. It's Bleck and Abdalla. Also, you can watch the show all week long on our YouTube channel. We are streaming live on our YouTube channel. Look for it, like and subscribe at Bleck and Abdalla Show. That's right there. It's up. You can see all of the players join us throughout the week, all of the interviews. Abdalla, I saw a comment that I'm laughing at in the conversation on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Bleck and Abdalla Show, pointing out that you and I look small compared to professional football players.
You think?
I don't want to lead anyone astray with the perception of Bleck and Abdalla.
Okay.
I am
now,
not a
hold
former
on.
athlete. Neither are you. And when Todd Heap and Dennis Pitta sit down next to us,
Yeah.
yes, we are going to look small.
No.
I agree.
Okay, that's understandable. Now, I'm not saying like we're not tall by any means. We're not. This isn't like a basketball convention, though. We're
I
a
think
bunch of 7-footers either.
I have been described in my past as puny.
Yeah,
I think
that's how I would describe myself as well. But I mean, look, this is also
I saw
like,
in the comments,
like
Bleck and
there
Abdalla
are
look small. Yes,
like if you
we
also
do.
want to just like
I
look
agree.
behind us, like there's like players are everywhere right now. Like if you're watching right now,
It's a
there's-
players' day.
like it's a players' day. Like,
Players are here.
like who just walked by, like a player who just walked behind me. Someone just walked behind me.
Oh, a player.
Yeah, I think David Terrell just walked behind me like 2 seconds ago.
Oh, did he? Is that
Yeah.
why you turned around?
Yeah, someone just walked behind me earlier.
Well, I mean, Joe. So
Joe
when
Flacco walked behind me
when
as I said the words Joe
Todd Heap and
Flacco.
Dennis Pitta were on the set with us, as they were
Mhm.
talking to us, Joe Flacco walked by, and Joe Flacco is huge.
Yeah,
Like that's a big
that's
dude.
a tall man.
So
Joe
You guys
Flacco
just
was-
had a Hall of Fame running back almost intersect with a Hall of Fame lineman. Terrell Davis came, and then right behind him
easy.
was Patrick Willis.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's
Oh, that's who
There you
multiple
walked by,
Hall of
yeah.
Famers.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay,
That's-
Joe Flacco. We're on a stage, and Joe Flacco was still taller than me.
I know you have
Like
a booster.
that's tall. That's how tall Joe
Oh,
Flacco.
he is
Yeah,
a
it's
Pro
not
Bowl
like-
quarterback.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Is I think if I say his name one more time, he might just appear.
He's not
Because
Beetlejuice.
That's how it. Well, that's how it worked. I
No.
said his name before,
Joe-
and he just appeared.
Saying Joe Flacco is
Or-
elite
or
will
is that
not
just-
just have
or
him
do
show up.
Or do I have to have one of his tight ends?
Okay,
here?
so fun fact: one of Joe
Sure.
Flacco's kids had on the AFC hat, the one we've been talking about, the
See?
conference gear from the Pro Bowl
See?
games.
there you go.
One of his kids behind him had on the AFC hat.
See, the guys are supporting the conference unless it's the Patriots. And
That's
that's what we
awesome.
learned today
I
is
love
that
that.
the Ravens players still dislike the Patriots.
That's
which
awesome.
did you see what Tony Dungy refused to answer whether or not he voted for Belichick and
Yeah.
Kraft for the Hall of Fame?
Ridiculous.
Well, but think about the Colts. Their biggest rival during
Yeah.
that time
But,
were the
okay,
Patriots.
but that
That-
doesn't.
Everyone in the AFC hates the Patriots.
But that shouldn't.
that's clear. They
I-
all hate the Patriots.
I understand that. But as a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, you have to take your bias out of it.
No, that these guys are not going to do that.
But
And they haven't let go of the cheating thing, Abdallah.
and
But that's why you can't trust anyone for all of this voting.
But if
We
you-
don't like the writers who vote for this because some of them don't know what they're talking about.
Well, he
We
was
don't like the
mean to
former
me.
Hall of Fame players or coaches because they're holding a bias and a grudge against those who beat their ass on the field.
no.
None of it matters. This is what we need to declare. It's good. Here's the key.
It's super
Ready? No,
obvious
no.
that
Let's do this.
Dungy didn't vote.
Let's
for
do
him,
it. Let's
but-
declare this here on Westwood One
Declare.
Sports. Let's declare this. Declare. Drake Toll, Nick Costos,
Yeah.
Jim Rome,
Yeah.
Bleck and Abdalla,
Yeah.
Linnell,
Yeah.
Josh, everyone at BetMGM, everyone's going to join us. We're going to vote for the Hall of Fame from now on.
Okay.
We're
Are we kicking
Westwood
in the
One
door?
Sports. Westwood One Sports.
Are we kicking
And
in the
we'll
door?
have Harlan call the action for us.
All right.
Kurt Warner
You
will give
just
us
voted for Belichick.
Kurt Warner will give us from a tower. He'll sit up in a tower and will give us thumbs up and thumbs down whether or not he agrees with our assessment.
Okay.
And yeah, Mike Mayock will be there and Westwood One Sports. We will be the ones that set this up.
Okay, that works for me.
I think
And I'm
that's
fine
the
with
key
that.
here.
But it's obvious because he didn't say I voted for him that he didn't vote for him.
Can
No,
I
I
not
know, I
vote
know.
for them just to stick with the AFC hatred of Patriots?
That's fine.
You
just
can-
to contribute.
Raj,
but it's just
you get a vote and you can handle it however
I
you
vote
want.
no. Like I'm joining Broncos fans, Colts fans, Ravens fans. Steelers. We are all uniting to vote no.
I'm telling you right now, the way I would handle Hall of Fame voting is it's split decision.
Yeah.
It's like a split second decision. I'm not sitting there hemming and hawing and trying to figure out.
But it's
you know,
like,
sometimes you take the dog out in the morning and it's
Yeah.
really cold outside, and then the dog doesn't figure out where it wants to go.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, let's go. Let's get this going. Let's get the show on the road. I gotta get inside. It's cold out here, and he's taking forever sniffing around to find his spot. I'm not doing that with the Hall of Fame. It's go.
There
Yes
used
or
to be
no.
a saying: if you're
Hall of
a Hall of Famer, you're not. It shouldn't
Exactly.
take time to debate.
That's
that
my
used to always
point.
be a saying.
My
It
point
shouldn't
is
take time to
always
debate.
when you're watching the player
you know,
in the moment,
or the coach,
yes,
or the owner.
like
you know.
here's a perfect example, right? Phillip Rivers. When I watched Phillip Rivers play, I thought to myself, that's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yes.
When I watch Eli Manning play football, I don't ever think to myself, I was watching a Hall of Fame quarterback. I know people in New York are going to try and twist it into, well, he led Super Bowl runs or he's got rings. It's like that does not apply. When you watch Eli play, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Phil Rivers was a Hall of Famer. He just didn't have the Super Bowl rings.
I also think that it needs to be like a jury selection. You know, like if you no, listen to me.
Just get 12 people from Gen Pop.
No, but
Just
think about
everyday Americans.
It's going to be
you-
like, what's that meme everybody uses from the movie? What is it? Oh gosh, 12 Angry. Is it
Yeah,
12 Angry
12
Men?
Angry
Yeah.
Men, yeah.
One of- that could be Abdalla.
Raj, I
Standing up
guarantee,
against
I
everybody.
guarantee anyone below the Gen Xers listening to Bleck and Abdalla right now know what 12 Angry
But they
Men
know
is.
the meme.
They know
Do
the
they?
meme.
They
I don't
know
think
the
they
meme.
know.
I think they know the meme. I
they
see the
know-
meme on Reddit
They
like
know
all the
the
time.
guy
You really?
standing up
Yeah.
and making an announcement decreeing something.
I feel like that could be Abdalla on a jury.
I think
my
we
point
could
is,
we
if
could
you-
certainly get together
if you
12
look
people
at
around the country to vote on the Hall of Fame.
But if you look at Tony Dungy and you look at, he got his ass kicked by Bill Belichick numerous times, I wonder how he's gonna vote.
Right.
Or if he's
It's
gonna
biased.
be. That's my point. He shouldn't be allowed to vote for Bill Belichick. He can vote for everybody else. He shouldn't. He should be sequestered from the voting. It's like for the college football playoff. At a certain point, like guys are biased and committee members are biased, so they're like, guys, I'm out.
You want the hats on a little
Yeah.
hat
Tony
rack
Dungy
when they walk
shouldn't
into
be
the
The
room?
weird thing
allowed-
is, though, most of these guys hold their like longtime competitors in like the highest of reverence.
Well,
like that's usually how it works.
Except for a couple of them. A couple of them are jealous.
Well,
a couple
I-
scandals.
And guess what?
involved,
Jealousy, my friends, is a stinky cologne, and I can smell Tony Dungy's from a mile away.
From the way I've perceived it here on Radio Row, the other very good teams in the AFC are bent because the Patriots cheated. That's it. That's the angle. Because you're right. In previous generations, if there was a team that beat you, you may dislike them, but you respect what they accomplished. I get the sense that the other AFC teams do not like the New England Patriots because of the way they won.
Well, there's a like we just talked to Dennis Pitta and Todd Heap. They're rooting against them. I don't think they're like keep them out of the Hall of Fame or anything like that.
We didn't ask them.
We didn't ask them, but I don't think that like they're rooting against them. That's fine. We didn't have time to ask them. I also don't understand like conference pride. Like again,
Because they were a part of it.
baby.
because they're a part, but I get it too. You know
They
what
were
I mean?
a part
Like
of it.
like
I get that.
I understand that, but they're not rooting for the Patriots. That's fine. They want the Seahawks to win. I understand that. My team didn't win. I want every other team in that conference to lose now.
I mean, that generation of AFC teams went to like war with the Patriots. The
Exactly.
Ravens,
Yeah.
the Steelers, the Colts, and the Broncos. Those were
Yeah.
just wars for like 10, 15 years.
Exactly. And that's why Tony Dungy shouldn't be allowed to vote on it.
It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, live from Radio Row in San Francisco, getting you set for Super Bowl 60. You can listen to the game right here on Westwood One this Sunday. All right, Abdalla. So we're talking a lot of football here on the program. We're also keeping our eyes on the NBA trade deadline because there were big moves in the NBA yesterday. And until tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm guessing it's something we're going to have to keep our eyes on for the next 24 hours, especially with what's going to take place with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know the latest and kind of the fallout from yesterday and James Harden being traded from the Clippers to the Cavs was that the story that was out there post-game is that Draymond Green had conversations with the Warriors, and the Warriors have told Draymond that he is a part of a package that they are submitting to Milwaukee to try and land Giannis Antetokounmpo. So either way, and our buddy Nick Friedel is the one that broke that initial story with Draymond. So shout out to our friend Nick.
Shout out.
I would say this. when you look at that situation, there's a lot of different layers there. One, if Golden State was able to pull that off, does that make the Warriors good enough to beat the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the West? When you look at the Western Conference, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Denver, Houston, there's a lot of good, talented teams at the top in the West. The other side of it to look at is there's other teams who may have better enticing packages to offer to Milwaukee, whether it be Miami, Minnesota. Some of the other teams have been rumored for possibly trying to land Giannis. And then I would add as another layer to the conversation is if they got him or they didn't, and that being the Warriors, it does not matter because their run, their dynasty, whatever they want to call that they've been holding on to, the scraps up top, like instead of just going bald, they got some scraps, some George Costanza scraps on top, trying to claim that they're still making title runs or they're still a dynasty. That's all done because they've told Draymond they're trying to trade him.
Yeah.
Draymond can't come back into the mix now.
No.
Right? Like this is over. The Draymond, the Steph.
They're cutting the cord from cable TV?
Yeah, like it's now over.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at with this situation. And I think before 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, there's a lot of storylines there to kind of keep your eye on with the NBA trade deadline.
Yeah, this is obviously, this iteration of the Warriors has been done for a while, and I think it ended with Clay. Once Clay left, that signified it.
I mean, the move they made last year to get Jimmy Butler theoretically would put them into contention this year if Butler was healthy.
Once one of the 3 is gone, then it's a new iteration, of the dynasty.
That's fair.
Because once it was always the 3. It's always been Clay, Steph, and Draymond. And once you remove one of the 3, even if you miss out on a year, then it starts a new set of 3, a new dynasty, and they haven't been able to do anything since. So now, even if Giannis comes into the fold and they do find a way to win, I don't even think it stacks up with them. With the Thunder, like I don't even think they can come out of the West.
Well, right. That's why I laid out at the top of the Western Conference. There's a lot of good teams.
Yeah,
a lot of young, good teams.
I don't even think they stack up with the Spurs. I don't think they stack up with the Thunder. I still think that puts them 3rd or 4th in the West.
Denver's really good. Houston's really good.
Absolutely. And then again, you've got to make room for Giannis.
Whether or not you believe that LeBron has anything left in the tank. Last night in the first half, LeBron and Luka, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
They were also playing the Nets.
Yeah.
But they looked really good last night. So, I mean, that's another competitor because I think Giannis and Steph could make sense. But with that said, the West is so loaded that I don't think it's a shoo-in that they're in the conference finals.
No, not at all. And so I don't believe that this is this is a lot of teams trying to posture. You've seen the Timberwolves try to make some moves to maybe free up some space to see what they're trying to do. And a lot of these teams are doing this to try to make space and try to package deals for Giannis. But it still seems to me like this is going to be a move that is better suited for the offseason when you can have the most amount of picks and you know what those picks are actually going to be and not just, well, they could be the 2nd or 3rd or 4th or whatever they're going to be. Or if, in this case, if you're the Warriors, you're trading picks. If you're the Bulls, if you're trading picks. If you're any other team trading picks, the Timberwolves trading picks, they're going to be towards the end of the draft. And is that something that Milwaukee's interested in? They want to start rebuilding. They want high-level draft picks.
They need first-round draft picks back. It doesn't really matter at this moment. They need first-rounders back.
They need something.
Because that's what we've seen. Teams that blow it up, and the most notable one being Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And if you're a Thunder fan, you're listening to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, you know the trades of Paul George and Russell Westbrook, those names off of the roster are why you are what you are today. You got back a haul of first-round draft picks, and you were able to draft and develop those players into being the team that's looks somewhat unstoppable, relatively speaking, as we enter this second season of a defending title season where they're clearly the best team in the Western Conference. So, that's the way you have to do it. Hoping Milwaukee can get back any resemblance of, star players back. I don't think that's the way you do it. I think what you do is you rip the cord, you trade Giannis, you get back first-round draft picks, and then you kind of build slowly for the next like 3 to 4 years. That's the way you have to do it in the league. And then also James Harden was traded yesterday from the Clippers to the Cavs for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. James Harden's never won.
No.
His team, since I believe December the 4th, like the Clippers are like 17-4 since that time. The Clippers have been playing some of the best basketball in the NBA since that time, and Kawhi has been in and out of the lineup, and James Harden's been their best player.
Yeah.
Publicly after the game last night, and when he's talked to the media, saying that he didn't ask for a trade, and this is just something that came about.
Sure, he didn't.
I don't buy that at all.
Sure, he didn't.
So, I mean, there's a lot to kind of look at in the NBA trade down the line right now. As Bleck and Abdalla, we sit on Radio Row and we get set for the Super Bowl. Can I have 20 seconds on the Bulls quickly? We're both from Chicago. 20 seconds on the Bulls. The Bulls made 2 moves. They acquired Jaden Ivey, and they also acquired Anthony Simons. Both of those players, and Vooch is now with the Celtics. I like that for the Celtics, and his money's going to come off the books, so it'll help them with their long-term financials. I get that. For the Bulls, it's a lot of window dressing. It's 2 players that I don't expect a lot, and the Bulls have been doing this for the last couple of years. They acquire players who are not working in other destinations, claiming and selling to the fan base that maybe it'll work out. And in reality, it will keep the Chicago Bulls as a mid team in the Eastern Conference, not actually trying at the highest level.
Yep.
And so to me, it's like that situation. If you work from home, you know, they have those apps. They have the different productivity apps, which would allow you to not do your work at home, but it makes you appear active.
It moves your mouse around.
So your boss
on
and management
Teams,
can see that your computer is active, even though you're at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You're getting a coffee.
Yeah.
You're going out with friends for lunch.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
That's what it is for the Chicago Bulls. So I just want those
Good
20
for
seconds
them.
to get that out there, because you and I talked yesterday on the show how we didn't believe that the Bulls would actually do anything.
Well, we said they wouldn't
did
trade
stuff.
for Giannis.
I don't think that they're actually going to do anything that really sets them apart, especially in the East. It's Bleck and Abdalla. We have Stock Watch coming up next. Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit.
Here's how it works. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. If you're new to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. That's code B&A and turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states and present in state where it is lawful to wager. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets are non-cash credits that expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer valid until February 8th, 2026.
It's the biggest game on the planet, and we are there all week long, broadcasting live from good old San Fran, site of Super Bowl 60 on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Make sure you check out our podcast on Apple, Spotify, and the Odyssey app. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, live from Radio Row in San Francisco. Get you set for Super Bowl 60. New England Patriots, Seattle Seahawks. The game is on Sunday. We're here all week prepping for the game and getting ready. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Usually, when we are not on location in San Francisco on Radio Row, at this time during the day on a Thursday, on a Wednesday, right? We're Wednesday?
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
on a Wednesday.
I don't know, man.
Today's a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
go with
Wednesday,
that.
yeah.
I think today is a Wednesday. I love it. We go to Stockwatch and we say Raj Sharon is in Colorado, but today he's on the set with Bleck and Abdalla.
Right
all week.
next to you guys enjoying
Hello, Raj.
Super Week. Hello, Bleck and Abdalla.
What's up, Raj?
Are we ready to buy and
Let's
are
do
we
it.
ready to sell Super Bowl
Stockwatch.
style
Let's do
from
it.
Radio
Let's
Row?
go.
Do it.
All right, let's get some sports portfolios going here. Okay, first up, with his new offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy, intact, are we buying or selling Jackson Dart stock? Abdalla?
Sell. Sell. I don't want any of this.
He's dumping it. He is
I don't want
dumping
any of
this
this.
stock like you can't believe.
Yeah, because I didn't want any of it before because you did this before. Because when Harbaugh went to the Giants.
Right.
And I didn't want any of it then, and I don't want any of it now. Until he learns how to play without getting hit in the head.
But he now has an offensive coordinator who's going to, in your words, play in his system. He's going to play the Matt Nagy system. And he's not going to be running around getting concussions.
You don't know that.
Could this be a good thing?
You don't know that.
I know based on from what Bears fans have told me, Matt Nagy ain't the most flexible play caller.
He might get more concussions.
Raj, I'm going to sell as well because I don't think that moving forward, Matt Nagy has not proven it. And kind of what Abdalla is mentioning is that it was Andy Reid's offense, and Matt Nagy has never – I take that back. He has been in the situation where he has called plays, and it did not go well with the Chicago Bears. I don't think it will go well with the New York Giants. I will sell on Jackson Dart because I also do not think he will be able to stay healthy long term. He runs too much, too many times in the concussion protocol. Sell.
All right, next up, a quarterback who may or may not have some LaFleur magic around him. Are we buying or selling, Bleck, Kyler Murray stock today?
Okay, I'm going to buy. I hesitated.
It's not trading at a super high level at the moment.
Got choked up there.
Yeah, it choked me up because I had to swallow the hard truth.
Easy.
See there? I'm going to buy it. You know why? Because I think brother of LaFleur, Mike LaFleur, is going to get. Well, I was about
to
say
call him Little LaFleur.
I was going to say
you're
going
to call him Little LaFleur, weren't you?
But I didn't want to do that to him.
Hard to say, Little LaFleur.
Yeah, right.
Little
I didn't want to do that to him. I think I'm going to go. I'm going to buy the Kyler Murray stock because I think something I'm going to continue to point out as we head towards the draft that perhaps revamping Kyler Murray could be like the conversation we've had in the last hour with various NFL folks here at the Super Bowl. Like Kyler in the right situation has the talent. He can get it done. So I'm not out on Kyler. I'm going to buy some Kyler Murray stock.
Sell. Because what you've heard from all of the people that we've talked to is that they have to have the want. Caleb had to have the want. Trevor Lawrence had to have the want. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, they have to have the want. What have we heard about Kyler Murray? He doesn't have the want. That's all we've heard. Mike Mayock told us all these guys have had to have the want to do it. Everything we've heard about Kyler Murray is that he doesn't have the Call of Duty, all that kind of stuff. And also, LaFleur wouldn't even commit to him. He was like, hey, I like him, but we'll see. So, okay, no, not for me until I see it. Sell.
All right, fellas, next up, we now know who his coach will. It's not official, but we know it's going to be Clint Kubiak, and we assume he's going to be the number one pick. Are we buying or selling Francisco Mendoza stock based on this week's news, Abdalla?
Buy. I'm buying Mendoza because with all the money that they have, I'm going to assume that they're going to spend it on offensive line, on defensive help, on offensive weapons for Mendoza. And even if they don't have necessarily success that translates to wins, Kubiak has obviously run an offensive system that has helped Sam Darnold out. And I think it's going to be quarterback friendly for Mendoza. So even though the wins might not come right away, I think they're going to protect him and run a system that works to his strengths. So I'm going to buy some Francisco Mendoza right now.
Okay, from what I've always seen with the stock market is you don't want to make drastic decisions. And I believe I told you guys last week that I was going to sell my Mendoza stock. So I'm going to stick with that because I think it won't rise to the heights where I'm going to cash in. Like I don't think Mendoza is going to be the type of player where here on Stock Watch, we're all buying boats and second houses because his stock went through the roof.
Okay.
And he took us to a new level where we can really live our best lives, right? Like no winter houses are being purchased off of this Mendoza stock where it's at. Like I think the way I look at it is his height as a player in the NFL will be middle tier. He'll be an average quarterback in the NFL, which is good for a lot of teams to have a starting quarterback that's in the middle. He does not have the caliber of talent that we see with some of the guys who are in the top 10. So that's That's where I'm going with it, and I'm not going to buy that.
I don't need to buy a boat with every stock. Not every stock has to be.
If you're buying a player who's not
You
even
need a
in the
diverse
league
portfolio.
yet, if you're buying a player who's not even in the league yet, you're hoping he turns into a top 5 player. So then, second house
But
Abdalla,
not every stock needs to be second house worthy.
third house Abdalla,
Not every house needs to be. Not every stock needs to be third house.
house in Tuscany Abdalla.
Some stocks need to be just.
This is what we're trying to do here, Stock Watch. We're trying to do
not
this.
Every stock. Some stocks can just be kitchen remodel.
I think it. Okay, fine. I don't even know if you'll get that. I think you're going to lose your money.
All right, next stock is one that gets traded quite a bit and got traded again. All right, Bleck, are you buying or selling the beard? Are you buying or selling some James Harden stock today?
I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell James Harden stock because I think the way this is going to play out, I don't think the Cavs will be good enough in the backcourt defensively to make a title run in the Eastern Conference. I think the way the Knicks are structured and the way that the young Pistons team has played to this point this season, I think it absolutely improves Cleveland. But I think there's going to be that flaw in the Cavs where you can attack Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. And when you have 2 players that you can attack defensively, that really is difficult to cover. So even if you have 3 other players on the court at all times who are good defensive players, it's tough when you have 2 holes on defense to cover and make up for that. What? What did you say, Abdalla?
I said easy.
Easy. 2 holes defensively.
Okay.
What were you thinking?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
going
to sell.
I'm gonna buy. Stock's low on Harden.
Easy.
And I've been to Cleveland. Club scene ain't it. So I think he's gonna be locked
Flats?
in. I think he's gonna
Come
be
on, Al. They got the Flats in Cleveland. It's a great time.
I think he's gonna be locked in.
Wonderful city.
I think he's gonna be locked in. I think he's gonna have a renewed mindset. I think he's gonna be at least until there's I think he's got nothing
Less distractions.
Less distractions in Cleveland, if you know what I mean.
I think it's
He didn't get traded to Atlanta.
I don't know. I see the opposite.
funny.
You could be sitting inside eating. Could be a lot of eating, sitting inside eating time.
What's so funny about it is a guy who's from Southern California wants to win so bad for his image that he wants to be traded to Cleveland, Ohio.
He knows.
And people of Cleveland, I get it. We're Chicago guys.
That's my point.
He
knows. No distractions.
It's very different than Southern California.
No distractions in Cleveland.
Okay.
All right, guys, moving along on Stock Watch. We're going broad here. So there's a lot of interpretation with this stock.
Okay.
Abdalla, are you buying or selling the Patriots? Are you buying or selling that stock today?
I'll buy some Patriot stock. I think people are discounting them. I think people are saying that, they've got not no chance, but little chance to win this Super Bowl. So I think that right now, if you buy a little bit of Patriot stock, sprinkle a little bit on that money line, you might cash in a little bit. So I'm gonna buy a little bit of Patriot stock right now. I don't see why not. I don't think they're gonna win, but listen, sprinkle.
I'm gonna buy because if they win this year, that's great. But I think this is a slow burn up.
Yeah.
And I think New England has set a culture, and with Vrabel and with a young quarterback in year 2 in Drake May, the ceiling is unlimited on this team. And I expect them to be around for a long time in the AFC. So I'm going to buy the stock on the New England Patriots.
All right, now we flip the script the other way. Bleck, are we buying or selling the Seahawks, who have been kind of quiet so far throughout the week?
Okay, so let's look at it this way, right? Like Apple after the iPhone was still a very expensive stock. Yet, if you were in on Apple after the iPhone, it still went up. And it's a good company, and it continues to rise no matter what. Apple is proven, and it's got a proven track record. Seattle, expensive right now. We all expect them to win this Sunday, so the stock's going to continue to go up. I'm going to buy the Seahawks.
I'm also going to buy the Seahawks because everything that you're reading about them is that if they win, this could start a dynasty anew, right? For this team. I'm not buying that, but I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I do think that this division that they're in is going to be extremely tough. The 49ers are going to bounce back as long as they can stay healthy. If Matthew Stafford decides to not retire, the Rams are still going to be in it. I don't think the Cardinals are going to do anything, but it's going to be a very tough division. The NFC is going to be very tough, but I don't think the Seahawks are going to go anywhere. Their defense is still going to be really good. I think Sam Darnold might regress a little bit with the new OC, but he's still going to be very capable of, not messing up a team. He's still going to be a good quarterback. They're going to have a very good run game. So I'm still going to buy the Seahawks as a team that's going to be right here in the mix. Maybe not back at a Super Bowl, but competing for an NFC Championship game next year for sure.
So underrated factor on that stock, the Seahawks are about to be sold for an NFL franchise record this offseason.
Yeah.
That will increase that value. All right, and finally, on Stock Watch today, last night's Madden party. Are we buying or selling the Madden party, Mr. Abdalla?
Oh, I'm buying that Madden party. That was great. And you know why? Because it wasn't the party so much as the friends we made along the way, guys.
It was a good time.
It was the bonding. It was the 2-hour round trip.
You sound like you're
in the Uber. I'm not. I was. It was Raj playing DJ.
I was DJing on the way back.
Yeah.
Raj was playing bangers.
It was great.
He was playing bangers.
It was fun.
I'm gonna buy it. It was a fun time.
Yeah,
it was a great
time. The party was
cool.
fun. Yeah.
And quite honestly,
it was cool seeing EA's headquarters. It was fun.
By the way, I totally missed an opportunity to play Nickelback on the drive home last night. That was a miss on my part. I was so focused in on trying to play Aldine for Bleck that I just completely blanked on playing Nickelback.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Raj?
National
just it was a mess up on my part, and Abdalla, I'm sorry.
I listen to country. I don't.
Not that one.
It's Bleck and Abdalla here. My answer would be I'm buying, because also I'm not cool enough to be invited to parties like that. So it was sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm in.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. That's cool. Bleck and Abdalla, thank you, Raj. We appreciate it.
Thank you, fellas.
Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. Lots to do here on Radio Row in San Francisco. Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Coming up next, we will talk to Lorenzo Alexander, former NFL linebacker, played with Buffalo for a long time. He also has a lot of opinions on current NFL topics. Can't wait to talk to him. That's coming up right here on Westwood One Sports.
You're talking Super Bowl this week, and we're living it live from San Francisco, grabbing the stories, the guests, and the moments that matter on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome back to Radio Row. It's Bleck and Abdalla hanging out with you until 3 Eastern. That's when Jim Rome takes over on Westwood One Sports. And we're hanging out here at the Super Bowl 60. It's been a fantastic time so far this week. And it really feels like in the last couple hours today that the level that it was at on Tuesday, yesterday, has definitely ramped up today. There are way more players here today. There's way more social media stars walking around all over the convention center. If you are someone that wants to be seen on television around the country, this is the place to be.
Did you see Eagles guy?
Yes, the super fan,
the dude that's like painted up. He's got his face painted.
He's got to be one of the top super fans across the country.
Yeah.
When you talk about football fans, right? Like you always see him on the draft broadcast.
Yes.
You see him featured in all the stuff like today. Like he's walking around, people want to talk to him.
Yeah.
I feel like every city has one of those guys.
Yes.
Who either anoints themselves as the guy or they like the collection of fans select that person to be the guy, right? Every city has that.
And like I saw Bryce Young walking around. He was going, I see Teddy Bruschi from here. Let's see. I see a bunch of people walking around from here. I saw Donovan McNabb walking around earlier. So there are a plethora of former players just walking around here around Radio Row. And it's like, you're right. It's like yesterday you could still walk. Now you have to like, there's a lot of excuse me's being said. Excuse me, pardon me. And if you wherever you walk, you're in someone's shot. You're in someone's view or you're in someone's broadcast.
We are waiting to talk to Lorenzo Alexander here on set. So the former Bill, the former Commanders linebacker, he'll join us in moments here on Radio Row. We do have breaking news in the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks, this is according to Shams Charania on ESPN. The Dallas Mavericks are trading 10-time NBA All-Star Anthony Davis. They're also trading Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum to Washington, the Wizards, for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Mekhi Beckham, and Marvin Bagley III. Two first-round picks and a third second-round pick is also going to the Mavericks in this deal. So essentially, the headline: Anthony Davis, who's injured right now, is going to be traded to the Wizards.
That's a lot of players for a lot of players and a lot of picks for a lot of picks. As an injured player is moved. And
please clip that. That's the breakdown.
I mean, listen,
a lot of injured player, a lot of players.
Well,
and
I mean,
a lot
look,
of picks are moving.
it's Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell going to Washington for Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, and Marvin Bagley, and then 2 first rounds and 3 second rounders. Like it's a lot of moving parts, and Anthony Davis, who's hurt constantly. Hurt.
I'm guessing with all of this, with all of the different pieces, I'm guessing there's probably a third team involved in this.
There has to be with that many moving parts.
And so that's what we'll keep our eyes on this as it breaks. To be honest, I don't think Anthony Davis getting moved to Washington is really that big of a deal.
No.
Like, congratulations, Wizards. You're now collecting Anthony Davis, who's always hurt, with Trae Young. And like that's what you're building with,
who no one really wants anymore. Anyway.
And you're one of the worst teams in the NBA.
You're just collecting players that no one wants anymore.
And Anthony Davis has kind of bounced around now throughout his career, and this is what his career has turned into. He's an NBA champion. We've also, on this show specifically, I'm sorry, Laker fans, but we've called it a Mickey Mouse championship because you won it in the bubble.
Yeah.
An asterisk should probably go up with that title on the banner. Throw one up there with the banner up there at Staples. And I know you call it the Crypt now, but it'll always be Staples to me.
Is that where stars go to die now?
What?
The Crypt.
Oh, because of LeBron?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Luka.
Fair.
It's a fresh new start. The point, though, with Anthony Davis is he can never stay healthy enough to be a long-term impact player you can bet on. Like, that's the thing, is it's every single time throughout the season, Anthony Davis, he gets a bump here, he falls over there, and he's on the injured list for weeks at a time. It is something that has plagued his entire career. And that's why his nickname, for most people, it's street clothes, because he's never available to play. And so now he's heading, the breaking news on ESPN is Anthony Davis is heading to the Washington Wizards.
Well, if you're the Wizards, what are you hoping to do here? Trae Young, Anthony Davis, who's injured right now and often injured. Like, what are you hoping to put together with these two players? What are you hoping to build with these 2 players? I mean, and picks and an assortment of other players. Like, what is the long-term goal if you're the Washington Wizards? Like, obviously, for the Mavericks, you're just hoping to, build around Flag and acquire more picks and get worse, and obviously acquire and build around that and model what the Thunder did and get higher draft picks and accumulate more younger stars around Cooper Flag and continue to do that. But if you're the Wizards, there is no way out of this whatsoever.
Okay, do you want to hear the spin job on this one? Ready? So, like, the way it works in the back, right? Like, agents are feeding information to the reporters. The reporters are sending that information out. You also have teams that are feeding the reporters, right? There's a reason there's like 2 guys in every sport that get all the stories.
Yes.
Like, there are others who break stories who are good reporters. I'm not saying that these guys are not good reporters, but give me this, whether or not there's spin on this tweet from Shams. An NBA trade deadline week stunner. Clearly, the Wizards have completed their deconstruction phase and are now moving towards Young, that's Trae Young, and Anthony Davis leading a rising young core. Washington has turned its previously Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma trades into Young, Davis, and 5 pick swaps. So I feel like Shams is really shining up what Washington has done recently. And I know they do have some young, good pieces, but theoretically, Washington, you're just collecting pieces no one wants.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, last hour, you and I were talking about the way that the Bulls have operated. The Bulls are doing the same thing. So Wizards, Bulls, you're not really impacting your status in the Eastern Conference with these moves, because the other part of it is Anthony Davis is never healthy. So even if you think you got one of the best defensive bigs and a guy who can play offensively as well in the NBA on your team now, there is a very good chance he's never going to be available for you.
No, and the problem is, as soon as he is available, he plays for a couple weeks and then he's hurt again.
Right.
And then if you even make the playoffs or the play-in, he's available for a couple games and then he's hurt again. And Trae Young's unreliable, and this guy's hurt all the time. And if you're a Wizards fan, you're kind of stuck in this limbo of mediocrity that you can't dig your way out of. You're not good enough to get a top pick. You're not bad enough to get a top pick. You're not good enough to compete for anything. And your team just continues to acquire these stars that no one wants, or stars that just leave at a certain point. Or it's just this cycle of bad that's in limbo of NBA just purgatory of not being able to compete and not be bad enough to get a star like Cooper Flag, like the Mavs were able to.
Well, and the thing that I really think at this point that is so interesting about the way you build a team is like, you can't really do what the Wizards are doing. I think at this point, you can try to build your team this way, but you're always going to be stuck. The way the cap is set up, the only way to acquire those top-level stars, essentially the way the league is kind of boiled to a point where guys have stayed in position, is free agents aren't really moving anymore.
Yeah.
The whole join your buddy and what LeBron and D-Wade and Chris Bosh, what they all did on the banana boat where they're trying to convince each other to play basketball. I think when you look at the way the league was set up at that time is no longer the case. The free agents are not hitting the market like they used to. And so you have to make these trades. But unfortunately, at this moment, it's not going to work.
No, it's not. And, you've seen this with the Wizards. We just talked about it with the Bulls and them finally moving off of, Vucevic and maybe moving Kobe White here. And it seems like they're kind of in the same spot where they're acquiring these players, but they're just not going to be good enough. And maybe Anthony Davis is that move where their hope is that he doesn't play. So they are bad enough to maybe get a top pick. Maybe that's their hope, is that, hey, hopefully he doesn't play. So then we are bad enough to get a top pick and try to win a lot. Maybe we do make the lottery and then we do end up with something of value. So we can dig our way out of this. You never know. I doubt that's going to be the case because they might end up making the playoffs, just the play-in.
And I could see it from the perspective of a Wizards fan. Like, you were in a spot, I see Mark Stein on social media putting that, you had the expiring contracts of CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton, and you acquired Trae Young and Anthony Davis. And for whatever we think about Anthony Davis, Trae Young, I think we can kind of place Trae Young in the same category, not to go cross-sport comparison for you, Abdalla, here on Westwood One Sports, but you can kind of put him in the same bucket as Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has all the talent in the world. It hasn't really come through.
Yeah.
Trae Young has all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
He can be a top guard in the league. It's just not quite there. And so for the Wizards to get a player like that who still has time, and Stein also points out that to place Anthony Davis when healthy alongside Alex Sarr, that could work for bigs. It could. I think Sarr is a pretty good player coming into his own, but it is interesting to look at the trade deadline tomorrow at 3 Eastern. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, and we will keep you up to date on what's going on. Anthony Davis traded to the Washington Wizards. That went down just moments ago. Bleck and Abdalla, we have more live from Radio Row here in San Francisco. Coming up next, it's Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Live from San Francisco, the site of Super Bowl 60, Westwood One Sports presents Bleck and Abdalla.
Welcome in. It's Bleck and Abdalla here from Radio Row, hanging out with you for the week on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, noon to 3 Eastern, right here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join us today and every day, you can call us at 310-840-4910. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, live from Radio Row as we get situated here. Jim Rome is coming up at 3 Eastern right here on Westwood One Sports. Demario Davis, Pro Bowl linebacker, team captain for the Saints, joins Bleck and Abdalla right here on Westwood One Sports. Demario, welcome. How are you?
What's going on, gentlemen? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Good to see you. So we have the big game coming up on Sunday, the Patriots and the Seahawks. And we've been talking about it all week long. And I think one of the storylines we point to as we're watching this is like Seattle's defense is so impressive. And whether or not Sam Darnold can play the way he did in the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl in the biggest spot. How do you view the Seahawks entering this matchup against New England?
I think it's going to be a good game. You got two really high-powered defense. They both have played well all season. Seahawks defense led by Jones in the middle. Patriots defense by Spillane in the middle, pending if he's able to shake back from the injury or not. I think they have some really good guys that have stopped the run well, have played well in the past game, very consistent, very good tackling defenses. Both of them can get out there a quarterback, and it's going to be a really good game. I'm interested to see which defense can really affect the quarterback. These quarterbacks have managed the games very well all playoffs, and I think both offenses will be able to run the ball very, very solid. But who's going to be able to get after the quarterback, either forcing interceptions or just making it a hard day to having to scramble around and generating sacks? Which defense is going to be able to do that, I think, is going to tell the tape.
It seems like Drake May has taken a lot of sacks so far this season. He's taken 15 of them so far in the postseason. How do you key in on that? And especially on the left side where Will Campbell is on that offensive line, how do you key in on that specifically and make sure everybody's doing their job and not jump on that too much and not put too much emphasis on that?
Yeah, I think, even though he's taking a lot of sacks, he's still managing the game. He's not forcing bad plays. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to hold on the ball and take the sack. But he's been very good as far as getting to the second play. When an offensive play breaks down, he can extend the play and find receivers down the field. Even late in the game with the big scramble that he had, to pick up the first down late in the game, at the end of the Broncos game. That's what it is. It's like you might take those hits, but if you can be able to extend drives, if you can be able to make the big play when it's there, that's all that matters. And you don't, let those hits affect you. And so if you go back to last year's Super Bowl, you look at the Eagles and how they got after, Patrick Mahomes, sack after sack. That was relentless pursuit.
Yeah.
That's what a defense has to be able to have. It's like you might get a sack or two here and there, but if you don't have a relentless pursuit and you will still allow him to pick up those crucial downs, then you're really not affecting him as much as it looks. So I wouldn't pay attention to just how much he's been sacked. He's still managing the game very well. He's not throwing crucial picks in those situations that really change the game. And I think that's what has allowed him to be so effective. That's what allows him to be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year. He's really just been very special. And the same with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has taken some hits, but he's making those plays in crucial downs and crucial minutes. And their offense has really been explosive.
So, okay, take us inside. Adam and I didn't play.
Yeah.
We love football, and we love hearing the inside thoughts of those who are on the field.
Yeah.
So you list off, players like Drake May and Sam Darnold, and we can list off a lot of quarterbacks who are guys who can run.
Yeah.
When you're in coverage or you're near the line of scrimmage, and that quarterback is outside of the pocket, and there's that moment where you need to decide, am I going after him or am I waiting, because you don't want him to throw over the top if you commit.
Yeah.
How difficult is that to face in a week-to-week situation against some of these players like Jane Daniels or Caleb Williams or Drake May, the quarterbacks who can run and hurt you, Josh Allen, right? Take us inside your helmet and what you're seeing on the field in those situations.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I wouldn't short yourself. Just because you don't play the game doesn't mean you can't analyze it very well. So we all seeing the same thing. The difference of a player is just that you can feel it. And so you don't know what that timing feels like or the threat it feels like. And I'll talk about it a little bit, but first let's break down the analysis of getting to the second play. This is what the difference in today's quarterbacks who are good, great. The guys who can get to the second play the best are going to have success. When you look at someone like Baker Mayfield and the strong start that he had in the season, he was doing a phenomenal job of getting to the second play. Later in the season, I don't know what was happening with their offense, and it wasn't happening as much often. But this is what Drake May has done really well. Sam Darnold's doing it. It's a progression-oriented offense, meaning a quarterback mostly is reading 1, 2, 3. The defenses are too complex to read, and so they really have a call of play, and you go through your progressions. And if they can get to that first, second read and throw the ball, good. But if the defense is in the way and you don't feel good about that throw, now you have to get to the second play. That means you have to extend the play. You have to break off of a sack. You have to get outside the pocket, maybe stepping up in the pocket or offensive line giving you an extra second. Now you got to get to the second play. Now the receivers are breaking off their routes. So a guy may have been running a dig, and now he takes it upfield for a corner route. Or a guy may have ran a comeback, and he sits and now he wheels up the field. Running back might have been in the flat. Now he cuts back towards the middle of the field. And the quarterback has to scramble with, all these elusive pass rushers kind of coming after him. They have to be able to evade and buy time, and now they have to find one of those receivers. Those are the hardest quarterbacks to defend. When I first came in the league, it was really about a pocket passer, a guy who can go through the reads really quickly, get the ball out, and if you got to them and they didn't get the ball out, it was going to be a sack. Or you had guys who could get outside the pocket and scramble. You later start to see guys who would extend the play. One of the first ones that was doing it at a high level was Aaron Rodgers. They extend the play and buy time and keep his eyes down the field and find these throws late down the field. And that's what you're having to defend. And so what that feels like for a player is, I got to make a decision in a game. If it's 3rd and 8 and my guy is one of those guys and that quarterback, there's nobody else in the vicinity but the quarterback, me, and my receiver. Do I stay on my receiver or do I kind of go up and get the quarterback before he gets the first down? And that's a game in a battlefield decision. You got to make that in the moment. And what that could feel like is, man, this guy finna get this first down, and I might jump off my guy at the wrong time, and he throws it, to my guy and picks up a big first down. Crowd's going crazy, game-changing moment. Or I may stay in coverage and I give up the first down, and it's like, which one was the right decision? And then you got to be able to make it based on instincts. But there are little tells that you can find on a quarterback that tells you when he's about to scramble or when he's looking to throw. And you kind of got to be able to read that in a split second.
You guys face Seattle this year. What does that offense do so well that gives defenses fits?
They run the ball very well. You got a great quarterback who's managing the game. You got some receivers who are really explosive and dynamic, tight ends as well. But I think what separates Seattle is they play really great defense, and their special teams is electric. By the time we played them, the score was 28-3, and the defense had only been on the field one time. And so it wasn't the amount of damage that the offense had did. It was the special teams that really separated the game, and the defense, I think, had got a really big interception that took them, right up to the 3-yard line or something like that.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the game script and complementary football, right? Because you just mentioned the defense was only out there once, but the score was extended. And that I would guess that as a player is one of those situations where you feel like you're not being helped by the other side, right? And I know it's one unit, but I would have to imagine in the game, you're again, okay, we're not going to have a shot here if this keeps going that way.
You try to control what you can control. And so our job isn't to score points unless we create a turnover. Our job is not to control field position as a special team is. And sometimes the special team's hot, sometimes the offense hot and defense, and you need the other group to kind of help you out. And so when the game gets extended like that, our mindset is, how do we make sure that they don't get any more points? And how do we limit them on defense and give our offense as many chances as we can to kind of close the margin? And that's all you do is you just try to control what you control. You don't kind of point blame. You don't kind of shift to, well, our section is doing our job. It's like, nah, our job is to do our job no matter if we up 50 or we down 50. It has no bearings on what we're called to do. And so that was one of the great things about our unit is that we stayed together as a team, even in hardships. There was never any kind of blame or pointing the finger. Everybody was locked in and doing their job. And when the momentum turned, you could really feel it. And that's kind of what the culture is now. And you can feel that momentum on the uptick.
The other side of the ball for you, Tyler Shuck came on great at the end of the season. How does his development change throughout the season? How did his leadership change throughout the season? Talk about his development throughout the year.
I think it was unreal. He just kind of stepped into a really good situation. We were really battle tested early on. And it doesn't take anything away from Spencer Rattler. I think he did a phenomenal job in what he was being asked to do. He did a great job protecting the ball. We just weren't getting the wins. But in the back end of the season, our defense went to another level. They had made the switch at quarterback, and Tyler Shuck stepped in. And to his credit, he ran with it. He did a phenomenal job. He protected the football. He made some really great throws. He was really good at getting to the second play. He just kind of had that it factor and had the swagger, and it brought a lot of momentum to the team and to the city. I think he did a lot in that back end of the season that really put him in position to win Rookie of the Year. And if he takes that, he just continues to take that next step. We all know that the biggest growth is between year 1 and year 2. If he takes that next step, which I think he will, man, look out, really look out. And I thought it was incredible. I think he has a certain level of maturity coming into the game at 26 years old. He's played a lot of snaps in college. And so when he stepped in, he just didn't flinch. He had it all.
Demario Davis hanging out with Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We've asked a lot of people this week their opinion on the Pro Bowl games.
Yep.
I missed the actual game. I get it. It's an exhibition for the fans. How do you think it went last night? Do you think that the concept of the Pro Bowl games is good for the fans? Do you like the way it is now?
Man, I just love that our league is willing to try different things just to continue to advance our game. We are in an entertainment business, and our main customer is our fans. And so what the fans really want, what they desire, as well as protecting players and giving players something that they would be excited about, it's a community. How do we continue to advance the community forward? And I think our executive leadership in the NFL are constantly thinking through ways of kind of making the game better, to make it more appealing for players, make it more appealing for the fans. And I think we're just kind of in that era where we're trying to figure it out. I think the game had gotten to a point where the guys were so banged up, they didn't really feel like getting out there and competing. And, it was turning guys away who would probably participate in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They couldn't play in the game. So we get to all these different alternates. And I think they're just trying to figure that out, which is a complex thing. And I just applaud our front office, our executive team at NFL headquarters for constantly working through it. And they ask a lot of questions, and they're doing a lot of panels and trying to figure it out. And we've tried a lot of different things that I participated in, and I thought, it was good. But we're still trying to figure out what great looks like.
We were talking about this earlier. We think that the change should be bring more game shows into it. Bring like Family Feud, bring Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy.
Do you remember Double Dare from back in the day?
Yeah. Like that kind of stuff.
Double Dare situation.
Which one do you think you would be the best at?
Any of them, man. I'm a gamer. Put me in.
Put some video games in there. Which one do you think you would dominate at?
No, I think, you can have like a little Madden tournament, but I think you got to have, like you said, game shows, more family shows that bring in a wider audience. Mm-hmm. It can't just be the football fan base, because essentially what you're making it is more than the game. And so you have to have people who are interested in more than the game. The fans of football get more than enough football. Yeah. Like, it's in the middle of the playoffs. It's only 1 week, and then the Super Bowl is happening this week. So you're getting more than enough football. But how do you expand it to a wider audience that would appreciate something like that?
I think fans want more personality from the players. They want to know more about you guys.
You know why?
Just what they see on the field.
Because you guys have helmets on.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see the personalities without the helmets on in a different setting.
Yeah. I think that's what you want to see is, man, these guys are brilliant, man. They're so much more than just athletes. What they're doing in the community, how they showing up in the business space, how they showing up in the innovation space, and just really being able to put their whole person on display is what I think is most important.
I know you got to move on quickly here. I do have 2 more things for you.
Yep.
You mentioned fans get enough football. I agree. I don't need an 18th game in the regular season. What do you think?
I think scarcity is better, me personally. It just drives the audience even more into the game. Just understanding it's only 17 games, and then the postseason, another game. Like, I don't think more is more. I think less is more, because it's a rarity, and like protecting rarity is something. But I understand that the game has to expand, and just finding ways to do that. What makes sense, especially with going international. You may need more games, just because how do you get more games to an international audience? So I think that's a conversation that's being had and kind of thought through between NFL and NFLPA, what makes sense. But it really is about it just continuing to advance this great game.
Demario, tell us about you're here on behalf of Stand Together. You're also a co-founder of the Devoted Dreamers Foundation.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Man, absolutely, man. It's been incredible to be here Super Bowl week, and people just keep asking you about the community work that you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is about, man. It represents all of who I am. I do take pride in being, a great linebacker, but it's really about being a great human. What's more important. And I work with Devoted Dreamers around raising the next generation of leaders. Since 2013 has just been incredible in the cities that we've worked in. And what Stand Together has done is really allowed us to have a national impact. When people associate me and my wife, they associate with us with the national reach of community work that we do. And it's because of partners like Stand Together who really have focused on empowering change makers who want to tackle the country's biggest problems. And that's what we are doing. We're tackling education. There's currently this idea that one size fit all is the way to do education. It just doesn't work. It's proven. It's failing so many students. And how do you move towards a more individualized model, something that focuses on individual strengths, individuals' limitations, and put them in a space where they can really thrive? And that's happening. It's happening on the ground. We're connected with a network of people who are really working on those solutions. And that wave of education is coming. It's happening right now. And people just need to be made aware of it. That's what people really want. But they don't think it exists, but it does. And it exists in these spaces. And that's what Stand Together has really done, is help these bottom-up solutions really come to mainstream and cut through the noise.
Demario, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys, man.
Demario Davis, Pro Bowl linebacker, team captain for the Saints, joining Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One. We have more coming up from Radio Row. Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with early exit.
If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. If you're new to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. That's code B&A and turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states and present in state where it is lawful to wager. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets are non-cash credits that expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer valid until February 8th, 2026.
This is the week the entire NFL season builds to, and we've got everything you need to know. Super Bowl stories, news, and every angle that actually matters on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Hopefully we're setting the scene well here at Radio Row. It is packed today.
So you just want me to start naming players?
Yeah, I mean, there are players all around us. We got former, I know you were just scoping out former Bears as a Chicago guy. Are you going to go try and take down Matt Forte or Brandon Marshall?
No, I like those guys.
No,
Matt Forte is one of the nicest guys in the world.
You're a defensive back. Adam Abdalla, former defensive back.
Are you kidding me? There's Brendan Marshall. There's Matt Forte. We saw Bryce Young, who you made, I don't want to call it a disparaging remark about, but you just made a comment about his height.
No, he's my size.
Well, you were just talking about how tall people were and how short we were, and then you're like, well, about that. Hold on a quick second.
I mean,
we're about as tall as
I know
Bryce
when you watch the NFL, people are aware that Bryce Young is smaller.
Yes.
Boy, when Bleck and Abdalla think that they're about the same size, it's a bit shocking. To be honest, when I stood next to him and I was like, I'm kind of at eye level with Bryce Young.
Yes.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Cam Newton's over there. I can't see him.
Not the size of Bleck and Abdalla.
I can see his hat.
Cam Newton, not our size.
No, not at all.
It's Bleck and Abdalla. We're live on Radio Row, sponsored by Robinhood. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/your money.
3 Eastern, Jim Rome is coming up here on Westwood One Sports. It's Bleck and Abdalla hanging out with you. We're having a great time. You accomplished your Super Bowl week task yesterday. You got soup yesterday. Day 2 of Super Week. Day 3 today. Do you have a plan set? Can you give us a moment on the Super Week progress that you've made?
Yeah, I had a clam chowder yesterday, so that soup was accomplished yesterday. I gave it 3 out of 5, really 2.5 out of 5, but I gave it the extra half because it came in a sourdough bread bowl, and that extra half came from how good the sourdough bread bowl was. So it was mediocre soup, great bread, and obviously I'm rating soup, not bread, but I feel like the bread was that good it put it over. So you can check that full review at Adam A. Abdalla on Twitter. The plan today is we're going to gallivant about the city. We're going to take in the sights and sounds of downtown San Francisco today. Maybe go to the wharf, maybe go to some other places.
We already saw the wharf.
Well, yeah, so that I check that off. Check that off the list of scavenger hunt stuff to do.
It sounds like you don't really have a plan.
I'm going to let the soup come to me is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it come to me and let the soup come to me is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do today.
It's funny. Like you have all these serious football conversations and then you're breaking down soup for Super Week.
Yeah, and then I have to stop right now.
Here on the program. I mean, you have everyone having serious conversations about the National Football League and everything that goes into it. And then you have Super Week with Abdalla. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Lorenzo Alexander, former linebacker, joins Bleck and Abdalla here on the show. How's it going? Are you excited for the Super Bowl this weekend? It should be a really good game.
I'm excited about what Soup won the championship. What Soup would you break it down?
So now we're going to get into this.
Yeah, man,
that's
why
this is what we do. Yes. So every year during the Super Bowl, we do Super Week. And so we've done Monday and Tuesday. I had a shrimp bisque the first day. I had a clam chowder yesterday.
Okay, different place, same place?
Different places around San Francisco.
Okay.
And so now I got to go find place number 3. I haven't found it. It's too early for soup
All right,
now.
French onion? Are you a French onion guy?
I like French onion, but I'm just going to go out and try to find a nice restaurant here somewhere and try to find a good soup in San Francisco
I love
today.
it. I love it.
What about you? What kind of soup do you like?
I like French onions, probably my top. I like a good bisque too.
Okay.
That may be in clam chowder. Those are probably my top 3.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
soups,
and here in San Francisco, you can get a lot of good seafood.
Yeah, a
soups.
lot of great places to eat. I'm actually from Oakland, so I came over here a lot in college and stuff. I went to Cal as well, so I'm very familiar with the food scene.
That's perfect. Can we get some recs? We're here for a couple more days. We need a couple of recommendations to find some more soup or something.
On this side,
we went to Skoma's,
so we'll see.
We can travel. We can travel over bridges. We can make our way to Oakland.
Let me look in the phone, and I'll come over to a couple of spots that we used to hit up all the time.
All right. Yeah, I mean it's something that we take very seriously on the show.
I can see. We've talked about it a lot right now.
Right, exactly. All right. The game on the field. I think besides the quarterbacks, everyone wants to talk about the quarterbacks. Both of these defenses have been really good. Seattle's, you could argue, I know there's a lot of nerd stat people who want to tell you they're one of the better defenses we've almost ever seen. We'll see if they win a championship or not.
Ever seen?
They're in the conversation.
Statistically?
Yeah, statistically.
Oh, okay.
You know, the DVOAs, those power index numbers, all that stuff.
Yeah, I get that. And it's a place for the nerds. But, I wouldn't put them in the top 5.
It's in the middle of Radio Row right here. This is where the nerds are.
We'll point them out to you later. So what do you think of Seattle's defense to get to this point in the season that they've had?
No, I really love them. Obviously Leonard Williams and that defensive line and what they've been able to do up front, and that's where it starts. So I think those guys are the difference makers as far as the way they put pressure in the run game as well as the passing game. It really makes it offense hard to be consistently good down the field. Right, they end up making a mistake, and then they either turn it over or you end up putting the ball in. And that's what you really need. So that's where it's going to be. The game's going to be won and lost, because the Patriots' offensive line has really struggled. So if they don't block well, and that's why I'm picking Seattle in this game, is because of that defensive line and what they've been able to do all year in Seattle.
It feels like we're talking a lot about Seattle's defense too, but the Patriots' defense is really good too.
Yeah. And they got a couple of young safeties that went to Cal Berkeley, where I went. They got Hawkins and Woodson back there that's been playing really well all year as young players. And just their defense overall, right? Really well coached, Mike Vrabel and what they've done. And it's really a new iteration of the Patriot way, right? Obviously, Belichick isn't no longer there, but they play really good sound football, and they take advantage of your mistakes. And that's how they win a lot of games, right? The old adage in the NFL, right? Who plays the longest, the smartest, typically wins, and they don't make many mistakes. But when you do, they capitalize on them, just like we saw in the AFC Championship game.
You know, there's something to be said about that because I always felt like the concept of like the Patriot way.
Yeah.
The one thing that I always thought as someone who just watches football is every smart decision that adds up at the end.
Correct.
Where I always felt like the Belichick Brady Patriots that were winning Super Bowls, like it didn't really matter what took place in the first couple of quarters.
Right.
And then in the end, as long as they're hanging around, they've done enough to execute when it mattered. And I do feel like Vrabel brings that same type of kind of tactic or like style to the New England Patriots.
They're real situational based. You know, the middle eight, as they've coined it now, and he's done that for years. You know, winning at the end of the half and opening up the second half. And then obviously the 2-minute, 4-minute situations. And that's where most people, because that's typically a lot of pressure, not a lot of time on the clock.
Yeah.
So what happens? And so most teams, you reference Brady, most teams aren't methodical where they can go down and have 12 to 15-yard plays. But they are. They're coached.
Yeah.
Brady would throw the check down every time if you gave it to him, and he'll take the 3-4 yards because 3-4 yards is going to be a first down, right? And most people don't have the patience to do that, but they're really taught well to do that. And I think they're continuing that same type of strategy in terms of how they win in games. So when you watch them, it's not like, oh, man, they look explosive. It's just real methodical.
So how difficult and how annoying was that to play against?
Frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing you ever could do because it was hard to get to him because he would throw the check down.
Right.
And it was just rare that you were able, and then he would check in the runs. And Brady was like the most selfless player. Like if he got you in a look that he felt like he could run the ball against you every single play, he would check to that same play every single time. And so it became real frustrating because most people aren't patient like that.
Yeah.
And then they give you an in. Brady never gave you one, right? And then, everybody around him executed at a high level as well.
As a defensive guy, does it warm your heart a little bit that for like the first time in, I believe, 7 years, we have two defensive-minded head coaches in the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
and like
for
the
sure.
offensive guys are kind of the ones taking the jobs and leaving. The offensive coordinators are both getting new jobs and kind of leaving these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that because people get into the offensive guys like they're so smart. I mean, there's a lot of offensive guys that have done a bad job too when they get those jobs that I've been around that shouldn't be head coaches as well, and they act like us defensive guys are dumb and stupid, like we don't know anything, like we don't know the game, and we obviously can see that you have to be a great athlete, you have to be reactive, and then you have to be able to be pivotal within the game, right? I got to make adjustments, whatever you're doing. And so you got to be really intelligent to be able to see that and do that in game. And so it's cool to see defensive guys get to the Super Bowl, and obviously one of them should win it. But I just really want to see ownership start going to the defensive side because I can hire a great offensive coordinator as well. So defensive guys need to start getting more opportunities, I think.
You played in Buffalo. Buffalo went through changes with the coaching staff.
Yep.
McDermott out. You have Joe Brady taking over for Josh Allen, that offense.
Yeah.
What do you think of the way that Buffalo has handled the offseason to this point?
I mean, I thought it sucked. I mean, I think I fall in line with most people, being there in the beginning when Sean came on. Hadn't been to a playoff game in 17 years. I only had to, endure it for one season, but a guy like Kyle Williams was there 13 years and never made one until Sean showed up. And he changed not only the organization as far as what we see and think of the Buffalo Bills now, he was also ingrained in the community and the things that he had to endure and not necessarily be a part of, but because he cared so much, he stepped out there. So when you had like the storms, the blizzards, the kneeling, when you had the mass shooting, right? Sean was out there on the first line as far as ingraining himself in the community, and he didn't have to. That's not part of his job description. But him and his family decided, like, hey, we're going to be part of Buffalo. And then when you think about all that change, all that goodwill, all the things that he's done well, have a new stadium coming in online that he helped build, essentially. Because without all this win, you're not building that. There ain't nobody paying for that. And then you let him go in the fashion, and then watching the press conference is just hard to watch. It's just really hard because I know him, and that's the hard part of the business that most people, don't get to see often. We just got to see it right on TV and watch it.
So we talked about it last week on the show, and we ripped ownership and the way they handled that press conference. And we said that if Josh Allen wasn't there,
correct,
that would be they would be on the same level with the Cleveland Browns. And that's the way they handled the offseason.
Essentially, I mean, and Sean, our first year, we went to to the playoffs, we didn't have Josh Allen. I mean, he did it without a quarterback. We found ways, right? Josh Allen wasn't Josh Allen when he got there, so he got drafted by us, but nobody thought Josh Allen was going to be MVP. So what happened? He got developed. Coaching occurred, right? Whether that was in-house or out-of-house. So when you get to here, and then you separate, you're like, well, the coaching had to matter somewhat. So if we're making a change, why isn't it a holistic change? Why are we just picking one person? So that's why I think a lot of people had an issue with it. If the whole, kind of team was let go, I think it still would have been hard to see based on what they've done, but it would have been more palatable, right, to take. And so when you watch them going back and forth, giving themselves praise, but not too much praise, being hard on himself, but not too hard, it's just a wild thing to watch on TV.
He doesn't like power moves, but the offensive coordinator is now the head coach. Like it's
it's part of it, but that's the NFL. That's business, right? Things that happen behind closed doors, and a lot of times it comes down to relationships, who's close to who, and who gets hired, and that's just it's the ugly side of sports that most people don't get to see all the time.
Can you tell us about the work you're doing with Basket of Hope and the Super Baskets of Hope?
Yeah, so I've been a part of this organization from 2010, and what we do, we partner with Tony Dungy's a part of it, Kirk Warner, so some great men in the league that I've got to witness and see and be next to, delivering baskets to hospitals, right? Families, kids that have been in the hospital for months, days at a time, right? Dealing with cancer, different type of ailments, and just trying to bring some joy, some hope, right? As a parent myself of 4 kids, when my kids get sick and we're just at the house, I have high anxiety. So I can only imagine what those parents are going through. So if people want to be a part of it, superbasketsofhope.org. You can donate. You can donate your time to help put the basket together. And in some cities, you can actually help go out and deliver them. So we have current players, former players all doing this. And the cool thing for me, we get to go do it in Children's Hospital tomorrow on the Oakland side, where I grew up, probably about 3 blocks away from it.
That's awesome. Thank you for stopping by, Lorenzo. We appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, fellas.
Absolutely. Right. Lorenzo Alexander with Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We'll be back live from Super Bowl Radio Row in San Francisco.
It's the biggest game on the planet, and we are there all week long, broadcasting live from good old San Fran, site of Super Bowl 60 on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Live from Radio Row in San Francisco, Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Jim Rome coming up in 17 minutes and 35 seconds right here on Westwood One Sports. We're sitting behind his stage right now. He's on the set. He's ready to go. Bleck and Abdalla, the warm-up act for the Jim Rome show coming up at 3 Eastern. I love it.
Hey,
we're
look
over
who it
at
is.
the final hour. We're on the kids' table each and every day here at Radio Row. And it's fantastic because they have to set up the whole TV setup for Jim. So it's pretty cool to see.
Did you see Raj almost jump over the table?
Yeah, I know. He saw CM Punk. And
CM Punk.
we almost
just
lost
walked by.
Raj for the week.
Yeah.
Raj is going to go after him, no doubt. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. You can find our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Bleck and Abdalla Show. We're streaming all week long video right here on YouTube at Bleck and Abdalla Show. So make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Thanks to Raj. Thanks to Curtis Poindexter on loan from the Drake Toll Show
Shout
today.
out Curtis.
So shout out to Curtis hanging out with Bleck and Abdalla
Do we get
today.
Idiot of the Day too?
Do you want to do one?
No, that's okay.
You can do one.
We'll steal Curtis. I don't want to steal Idiot of the Day.
Steal?
No,
it's
no,
not
no, no,
stealing.
no.
It's participating.
Participating?
There's no stealing.
An Idiot of the Day?
It's come up with an Idiot of the Day.
No,
Go
we
ahead.
got Curtis for the day.
What?
I'll borrow Idiot of the Day later.
Okay. All right. I think probably NFL players hearing us talk about soup.
No, that was awesome.
Could be a part of it.
No, he loved it. No. He loved it. Okay.
Lorenzo Alexander did love it.
Yeah,
I do think he enjoyed that.
Yeah, and he wants to go get some soup afterwards. We're gonna share soup afterwards.
Did he actually say that to you, or are you making that
No,
up?
I'm making that up.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna want to get soup with you.
It's okay. I guarantee you, it's the only time he's gonna talk about soup on Radio Row.
That's actually that's correct. And I think next year, if we are allowed to be on Radio Row again, I think we should have like a little soup stand or something alongside the table, so you could have a little soup cart,
Just handing out soup
yeah,
to
little
people.
cups of soup. Last night we were at the EA Sports Madden party, which is it's cool to be able to say that we were invited to
Yeah.
such a thing. Bleck and Abdalla being included in such an event, and they had all the food out, and one of the items on the food line Armin Williams pointed out to me that they had soup, and they were called tomato soup shooters.
It wasn't soup.
And it had a little piece of grilled cheese on
Yeah.
top of it that you could dip into the soup.
That wasn't soup.
And then you could shoot the soup. You were, Armin did a great job of thinking of you.
He did.
And
He did.
trying
And
to
I
make
appre- and I
sure
told
you
him,
had
"Thank
soup
you."
last night. And the first thing you were like, that wasn't soup.
I told him
That wasn't a good
because I
soup.
told him it wasn't soup. It wasn't soup because it was in a cup. It was in a small cup, and like you said, you could dunk the grilled cheese into the soup. And soup has to have like a thinner consistency.
Sure.
Where like it's supposed to like run off the grilled cheese. This was like a marinara sauce. This wasn't soup consistency. This was like a thick tomato paste. Like it wasn't.
Okay, you're stretching the truth.
It was.
It
Come on.
wasn't paste.
It wasn't soup. You didn't need. They didn't give you a spoon.
No, because it was meant to be a shooter. You dip.
That's not soup then.
You dip the grilled
That's not
cheese
soup.
in it, and then you drink.
That's not soup.
Because they were in little.
It wasn't drinkable.
They were in little what were they called?
Shot glasses.
Little
Like Dixie
cups.
cups. It wasn't
Yeah.
drinkable. You couldn't pour.
Okay.
It wasn't pourable.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
You could not pour it.
Thank
You're
you.
right.
You
You're
can't.
right.
If you
It
can't
was-
pour it, it's not soup. Thank you.
like it was the consistency. I don't know why I thought of this.
Marinara sauce.
Yeah, or if have you ever seen someone put on like eye black or something?
Yeah.
Like to get ready for a game.
Yes.
Like it was like you're right, a little paste.
I-
Okay,
I-
all right. all
okay,
right.
thank
You've
you.
convinced me.
Thank
Now
you.
that I've thought about it, and to your point of thinking that it was like
told
marinara
you.
sauce, I could definitely see it. So it's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, hanging out as we continue the talk and preview the Seahawks and to preview the Patriots. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One and the Westwood One Sports app. Jim Rome coming up in moments right here on Westwood One Sports. Jeff Garcia has just sat down, former quarterback in the NFL, four-time Pro Bowler. Jeff, thanks for joining the show. What's going on?
Hey, man, what's happening? This crazy thing here in the Bay Area, which is awesome. But yeah, this is quite the show over here.
It's changed a lot, hasn't it? Like Radio Row, Media Row, whatever you want to call it. Now it's changed a lot from over the years, hasn't it?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine there were this many visitors, this many stops to talk back 20 years ago, right? I mean, social media and all the things have increased this tremendously.
Absolutely.
And when we look at this game, what we have talked a lot about is the quarterback play and the development of the two quarterbacks. Obviously, Drake May, to this point in his career, it's great, right? Like he's in year 2. He's in a Super Bowl. He was considered for the MVP this season. We'll see if he wins it. It's probably going to be Matthew Stafford who wins the award. But then when you look on the other side of the field, Sam Darnold, his development, and then to get to this point in his career where now he's having this success, how do you view it as a former quarterback?
Well, the New York Jets expected out of Darnold what New England's getting out of Drake May.
Yeah.
But the New York Jets are not the New England Patriots. And that's why Darnold had to go through the growing pains, the struggle, because he went to a team that didn't have a team around him, that didn't have the consistency, the continuity. Now, I'm not saying Darnold was ready for it at 21 years old, coming out of only 3 years of playing collegiate football. You're not ready to take on that sort of responsibility. Now, Drake, maybe a little different situation. Maybe he's a little bit more mature. Maybe he had another year or two of the collegiate level. But, hey, they had their struggles under Mayo last year. And what Vrabel has done in one season of bringing back that team mentality that, hey, it's not just about you. You are the keys to the car. But, hey, we need 4 good working tires. We need an engine that's going to turn over. You got all that to work with. Utilize it. Darnold has had to learn the hard way. And fortunately for him, and thankfully, the NFL didn't give up on him.
Yeah.
Because I think that year he had with San Francisco to just sit back and watch Brock Purdy play, to learn from Kyle Shanahan, to see how an offense is run. Brian Greasy was their quarterback coach. Guys that were around him that knew how to execute an offense and to get you to think that sort of way. And then to go to Minnesota and apply it under O'Connell, another former quarterback who spent time in the McVay and Shanahan system and run something similar that he was already somewhat familiar with. And again, be able to turn over that key and just do the right things. Hey, press on the gas when you need to, pump the brakes when you need to, do those sort of things, and now just carry it over into Seattle. What an outstanding story for him. Two very similar paths in the sense of how they were looked at coming out of college, but one guy going to an organization that has 2 decades of winning championships and knowing how to get back there with the head coach now. And then Darnold, who's had to go through the bump and grind of the NFL and thankfully be given a second life right at the time when he's starting to hit his prime.
Right. And Jeff, I want to keep talking football. Our show is about to end in 3 minutes, so I want to get this in. I see the Revive here on the table.
Yes.
Tell our listeners about this and what you're working with this week, and then we'll see if we can get to more football before we end.
Mueller Sports Medicine, been around for 66 years. Remember Stickum? It was on all the hands. That was Mueller Sports. Well, they have the Revive product, which is the flotation boots, shoulder harnesses that help increase blood flow through your body, help relieve pain, discomfort, swelling. Every training room across America has these inflatable boots in there. And you see now health spas that have the similar things, right? Well, you could have this right at your home instead of paying a membership at a health spa to go through this, and do it while you're watching 20 minutes of TV. And you're going to flush out your system. You're going to reactivate the lymphatic system. It's just a quality product. And go to reviveaward.com to help pick a college athlete, top college athlete who overcame injury and all those things to get a $10,000 NIL deal, because it's all about the money these days.
Of course it is. And being I run, I try to work out. I'm not an athlete. I want to establish that. That could help with someone who runs.
Absolutely.
Distance running, marathons, half marathons, stuff like that.
What you put your body through, especially running the pounding,
exactly.
It'll help revive.
We got like 30 seconds left. Who's your pick for the Super Bowl?
I'm leaning towards Seattle. I just like their overall team. They have explosiveness in special teams. I really like how their defense plays, team defense. They get after it with their front four. They don't need to fabricate pressure. Those front four can get after it for you and allows coverage. And then Darnold, man, he's got a running game behind him. He's got some playmakers outside. He does a great job of decision-making, and I just like where they're at right now.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it. Jeff
Absolutely.
Garcia, former quarterback in the NFL. I watched him play. We were young.
Yeah,
when we were
absolutely.
Young. We were big fans.
Babies. Love it.
Big fans
Love
of you,
it.
Jeff. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.
We're on Radio Row, wrapping up. Jim Rome is on the set. He's ready to go. He's about 4 or 5 minutes away from starting up his show. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. It's been a whirlwind day here at Radio Row.
Yeah, Jeff Garcia wrapping up the show today. It's been awesome. We've got a bunch more interviews tomorrow. We've got a ton of stuff to do tomorrow. Even more players. You think today and tomorrow
out the camera?
are
Is the camera still
day?
standing?
Yeah, tomorrow the camera's
right.
still going. Yeah, the camera's still right there. Jeff,
the box
you
hit it.
think Jeff Garcia's taking out the camera?
The box.
Oh,
for,
no.
For the Revive.
The Revive's not taking out anything. It's going to help your legs. It's not going to take out the camera. It's still there. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of players coming through tomorrow as well to break down the Super Bowl. We're only at this is the halfway point.
Yeah, it's just
this is the middle. We got 2 more days of coverage here on Westwood One.
It's Bleck and Abdalla live from Radio Row in San Francisco, noon to 3 Eastern. We will be back tomorrow. Coming up next here on Westwood One, Jim Rome has you covered the rest of the afternoon right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.